Hey guys, Darth Gloric here, back with part 1 of my brand new playthrough. Welcome to Sakura Spirit. So, not too long ago, we did play through Sakura Sadist, which is the only other Sakura game I've played. And it was a good time. It was short, it was dumb, but it was a good time. It was just some fun, sexy, ecchi goodness. And it was a good time. And so here's the thing about the Sakura games. There's about a million of them. And so there's a lot of these things. And so I have started, so obviously there's lots of Steam sales. Steam has lots of sales. Lots of games will have it'll briefly on its own go on sale, and then Steam has a Steam-wide sales. Sales happen all the time. So the thing about that is it does mean, of course, that you have lots of opportunities to pick up lots of games. And so every time I have lots and lots of games in my wish list on Steam, and so anytime anything pops up, if the sale is really, really good, I just collect. And so, because I know that down the road I'm gonna play through some of this stuff, and so I know that down the road there'll be more stuff for YouTube and all this other stuff, so I'm like, there's no harm in collecting this stuff in advance. So, with that in mind, I have been collecting something. So I've been buying lots of the Sakura games. I own quite a few of them now. This one, as far as I know, doesn't have a sequel, or if there is a sequel, I don't own it. And so I think this one is a standalone one, I think, just like Sakura Sadist is. Again, to my knowledge, I believe that other one also doesn't have a sequel, to my knowledge. Now, some of them do have sequels, and so, it just sort of depends. But regardless, there is lots and lots and lots of, I have lots of games on the Steam wish list, and games that I even own to play through. So I thought that would be, now that we just finished Divinity, not too long, obviously, this last playthrough, I thought it would be a very fun change of scenery to hop into something stupid. I thought it would be fun to hop into something that wasn't quite so deep and fantasy and RPG and stuff. So we went with something that was kind of more dumb than anything else. Anyway, and so yeah, we're back. So a couple things before we hop into it. So firstly, this is blind. I have not played this before, and so this is completely blind. Other thing is, I have, in that same spirit, I have no spirit. Anyway, I have no guide. So I'm not playing with a guide open the first time. The first time, much like with what was the name of the Wolf Tales? Much like with Wolf Tales, we're gonna go through it, just see what happens. We're gonna play through it blind. We're just gonna enjoy it. Whatever happens, happens. But then after we probably do that, then we will probably keep playing, and we'll grab other endings or do other routes or whatever, depending on what we get. But the playthrough might be more than just my initial blind playthrough, depending on whatever ending I get. And if nothing else, even after whichever one I get, I'll probably look up and see what other options there are, and just to see if any one of them I care enough to go for on the channel. Because as usual, my standard of, like, best endings, true endings, all that kind of thing is a theme on my channel. I only do the best stuff. So and that's for me more than anything else, because I want to see that whatever the best ending is, I want to get whatever ending I'm after. You know what I mean? And if that means putting in more work, well, that's totally worth it. Anyway, so that's the first thing we should know. Second thing is, this video, I've actually bumped up the quality. So we are no longer in 29.97 frames. We are now in 1080 and 60 frames. So that's exciting. And so this will be the first video we're trying that in. My computer obviously doesn't care. It has more than enough power for that. And so my computer certainly doesn't notice the difference. But the reason I used to have it in 29.97 was because that was, to my understanding, that was what my audio was doing. Like, I was trying to line up the audio, and so it did help, but it wasn't enough to fix it, obviously, because the desync was still a problem. And so then I changed how I did my audio, so now my audio, of course, is done differently. It's now mixed in with the video file, and so now having it being a lower frame rate doesn't help anything anymore, because it's all one file, so it no longer matters. And so because of that, I bumped it up to 60. So we'll see what that's like, and hopefully you guys notice a difference, and so that's exciting. And I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, and if sound is not perfect, I did do a sound test beforehand. It sounded fine to me, but of course that always tends to adjust as needed, so we will see. Now, the very last thing I can think of is my sister is expecting a package today, and it's the kind of package you have to sign for. So if the doorbell rings, or if there's a knock on the door or something, and I have to rapidly scamper and leave, well, then now you know. Now, for you guys, it won't matter, of course. I'll cut out anything in editing, whatever happens with that. And so for you guys, you probably will hear the doorbell, because I probably won't want to cut myself off mid-sentence to cut out the doorbell noise. Assuming he rings the doorbell, which I really hope whoever delivers it actually rings the doorbell, because if he knocks, it's going to be really hard to hear him. Anyway, regardless. And so yeah, if I have to very rapidly dip mid-sentence or something, then that's what happens. And of course I'll cut out any of the dead air and stuff like that, so don't worry about that. Anyway, I think that's everything. I already glanced at the settings and I thought everything looked very standard. Oh, last thing. So because of recent visual novels I've done, I learned the importance of patches. Obviously, If My Heart Had Wings is a huge example, but Sakura Sadist actually had a patch as well, like an 18+ patch, and so I'm noticing a trend. And so what I've done is very recently I reorganized my Steam, so I actually made collections, which I've never done before, and so because of it, I organized my games, and because especially now that I'm actually starting to collect a lot of games on my Steam, I organized them, and in that organization, I have one that reminds me to check for patches before playing. And so I did check for a patch for Sakura Spirit. There was no patch, and so whatever, this is just, it is what it is. Whatever it is. So, and so yeah, so don't worry about that. There is other Sakura games, a lot of them do have patches, but I have a policy now of checking before we start recording. So the If My Heart Had Wings situation, or like the Wolf Tales also had a patch. If any of that happens, none of that is a thing anymore. None of that is a thing. We will not be caught off guard again, so don't you worry. Anyway, alright, I think that's everything. Now we're ready. Every person has a dream they wish to pursue. So true. I don't know if it expects me to click. You think it does? Yeah, it does. Yet, as people grow up, they often come to realize the truth. Dreams are nothing more than fairy tales. Well, that's freaking depressing. A little bit low-key true, but very depressing. At least that's what most people say. Then, what about those who end up accomplishing their dreams? Are they merely incredibly lucky? Good thought. Every man has a dream he wants to accomplish. However, there is something really important you should know, my boy. A real man doesn't give up on his dream, no matter what overwhelming challenges he might have to face. I still remember those foolish words my dad used to say, but despite their silly nature, I found myself inspired by them. Ever since I was a young child, I've been interested in martial arts. It didn't matter whether I watched a match on television or read a manga about some heroic martial artist. It's always been my dream to become a martial artist one day. Of course, it was a bit childish of me to think that I could become a hero simply by learning martial arts. Even though I already understood that superheroes were nothing more than figments of my imagination, I still had a desire to use my strength for the sake of others. My name is... oh my lord. Okay, it's Gushiken Takahiro. Nailed it. A 17-year-old rising judo star, and no, that's not me bragging. I'm actually about to take part in a tournament 2 weeks from now that could make or break my career on an international level. Of course, I was excited about the opportunity to finally accomplish my dreams and represent my country at a sport that I loved, but the same excitement also made me feel incredibly nervous. And while those worrisome thoughts haunted my mind, a familiar voice resounded from outside the window. Oi, Taka-kun, get your butt in gear. Okay, I'll be right there, Toyomi. Yeah, I'm coming. Freaking relax. Oh, obviously this one's not voice acted, apparently. I didn't expect it to be. I was just, pointing it out. Not wanting to keep Koyomi waiting, I quickly dashed toward the front door to let her in, not even realizing that I was still in my pajamas. Hold on a second, Koyomi. Gotta grab my shoes before we head off to school. Really? I never realized our school had a strict uniform or sleepwear policy. Nice jammies, by the way. Did you borrow them from your mom? For a moment, my eyes drifted downwards. I was like, ouch. Ouch. Noticing that I was indeed wearing my pajamas, I let out a groan of annoyance and marched back towards my room. Bah, there's nothing wrong with my jammies. The Golden Knight is a famous comic book hero in the West. Besides, not everyone prefers to sleep naked like you. Mumbling those words, I started stripping out of my clothes, not particularly minding the presence of the girl behind me. That only happened once. You know very well it was super hot that night. And geez, warn me before you strip naked in front of me, you idiot. You didn't seem to mind it when we were little. Maybe you want me to turn around instead? No, stop! Don't make me kick your ass. I decided I had teased her enough and quickly pulled on my pants, proceeding with the remaining few items of clothing before I was suitably dressed for school. She's cute. Besides, I had a reason for being so distracted. You've been distracted a lot lately. What's going on in that hollow skull of yours? It's an upcoming match. I have no idea how anyone can remain calm when an international career is at stake. I wouldn't be surprised if I made up enough doomsday scenarios to fill up the apocalypse genre. Oh right, the judo thing. I'm sure you'll be fine. I've seen some of your matches and you kick butt. And of course, if you're really worried, you could always pray. Pray? What, don't tell me you don't know? It's one of the school's legends. Apparently, there's some shrine out in the forest that if you pray to it, brings you good luck. Ichikawa said that his sister prayed to it the night before her exam and she got a perfect score. A shrine that is said to bring you good luck. Sounds bogus to me, but at this point, I'm willing to try anything, I guess. I'll ask Ichikawa about the location. I'm not exactly in the mood to get lost in the forest and end up a modern-day Tarzan. Well, whatever. If you do go looking, at least send me a message to let me know. And will you hurry up? We're going to be late again. A hero is never too early, nor are they too late. They arrive precisely when they are needed. Wow, that's a great reference, Takahiro. Well done. But for the sake of avoiding detention, let's hurry. That's a wizard, not a hero, genius. How could one person be such a sports nerd and such a geek at the same time? Wow, great references for both of them. I'm so proud. I'm proud of him for making it and proud of her for realizing it. Let's not forget the Casanova and Man of the Year candidate bits. They're important details. I doubt you'd qualify for either one of them, Pajama Boy. Anyway, let us boldly go where everyone has gone before, to school. Ugh, nerd. Several hours later. It's like, what's happening? Like, what are all these dots on screen for? Later that day, I finally got a chance to talk to my classmate about the location of the shrine that Kiyomi had mentioned earlier. Gym was the last thing on the schedule for today, so once people got ready to go home, I approached the guy. Hey, Ichikawa, is it true that your sister discovered some shrine that is said to bring you good luck? Ho-ho, let me guess, you want to date her. Well, even though I do have to admit that she's very attractive, I'm afraid she's already going out with someone. Not to mention, you're not her type. I already got my hands full dealing with Kiyomi. You can keep your sister to yourself. Joke aside, I'm more interested in the shrine. Did she mention where she found it? I didn't know there was anything near the forest, aside from the dojo. Oh, well, she said something about it being near a river and quite high up. To be honest, I wasn't paying too much attention when she was going on about it. I mean, she was wearing this top and it was tied and... Stop! I don't need to hear the details and I doubt anyone else is interested. So, do you know anyone who might have heard about the shrine? Are you guys talking about that lucky shrine out in the forest? The one and only. According to Ichikawa's sister, there's supposed to be one near a river. I don't know about that, but there's this fiery girl at the Sakura dojo who knows about it. Wait, are you talking about Arya-sama? About this tall, ridiculously strong, and super scary? That's the one. Oh, in that case, I believe I could still be of help, Takahiro. I know where that place is. Of course you do. We both do. You just want to tag along, don't you? I don't think Arya-senpai will appreciate you visiting her with your usual tricks in mind. Do I need to remind you what happened last time you tried to peek after she finished practice? Blood, sweat, and tears. Shut up! I don't peep on the ladies. That's slander, you know. I should sue you. I would never look upon Arya-sama's glorious body in any state of nudity. Oh, so you haven't seen her naked yet? I've seen a bit of a side boob, but the hole I found didn't really get me a good view of... There we go. Someone call the cops. Ichikawa, the peeping Tom, has confessed. I playfully patted Ichikawa's shoulder as I turned around, grabbing my bag in the process and prepared to leave. Thanks for the tip, Ichikawa. I'll let the judge know you were most helpful during the interrogation. This is unfair. I was coerced. I won't say another word until I speak with my lawyer. Yeah, so, you know. He's kind of icky. Don't worry about him. Ignore him. He's a little bit icky. Alright. Once school was over, I decided to take my chances with the little bit of intel I had managed to obtain from my classmates. If memory served me right, Arya-senpai would be practicing at the dojo today. Of course I knew her. She was a dojo student just like myself, but for whatever reason, she had been refusing to compete in any tournament for a while now. Arya-senpai, are you around? I shouted her name as I parked my bike, looking around for any sign of the girl. And you could hear, you know, grunts of martial arting. Huh, follow the shouts and you'll find her. I grinned briefly as I saw Arya seemingly in the middle of practicing a series of motions, almost as if she was fighting an imaginary opponent. Perhaps now it was a perfect opportunity to surprise her a little? I snuck closer, making sure to make as little noise as possible before I reached a hand towards her shoulder. Feeling a hand on her shoulder, Arya reacted. She grabbed hold of my hand and with a loud grunt shifted her weight, curling and tipping me over her shoulder. I didn't have time to brace myself for the impact before I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. He's like, yeah! No one sneaks up on the great, Aria Kunoichi. I'm assuming that's her last name, and it's doing the whole, like, first name, last name thing, I'm assuming. Aria Kunoichi? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Oh, Taka Boy, I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, are you okay? Kunoichi? More like Tasmanian Devil. That throw didn't have a shred of mercy in it. There's no mercy in the ring, Taka Boy. Better that you learn that now than in 2 weeks' time. Let me guess, you want to do some sparring, don't you? I actually came here to ask you something, but I guess a little sparring wouldn't hurt. Oh, what do you want to ask? We've got all afternoon, and I could do with a bit of a break anyway. Where to start? You used to take part in big and important matches in the past, right? Didn't you ever get nervous before going into the ring? Oh, yeah. This one time I got so nervous I hid in the kitchen cupboards until my dad found me and dragged me to the car. Of course, that was when I was like 8. Well, obviously I can't go hide for my match, but one of my friends made the stupid suggestion that I go and pray or something. Honestly, at this point, I'll do anything to calm my nerves a little. Taka Boy, are you sure about this? You mean the match? Of course I am. I've been practicing judo ever since I was old enough to walk. This is my chance to finally represent the country and the sport I love. Aria seemed to think for quite a long time, all the while tapping her jaw with a finger. Eventually, she snapped her fingers and grabbed a tight hold of me. Alright, I'll tell you the way to the shrine I know, but it's going to require more than a simple clap of your hands and a bob of your head. You need to give something to that shrine, something of value. I guess I'll have to think of something before we get there. Thanks, Senpai, I appreciate the help. We? Oh, no, Taka Boy. I'm not going with you. I've got training to do. Besides, you've got to take this step yourself. I could draw you a map and show you an easy way to get back there, but you'll be on your own. You're not tagging along? Not even for a little while? Afraid so, Taka Boy. Let me just grab some paper. I'll draw that map for you. After Aria's return, quick preparations were made, and I followed the directions noted down on the map. Surprisingly, it wasn't all that far. However, the hint on how to find my way back, in case I got lost, was a bit sketchy. Just look down and you'll be able to see the roof of the dojo from anywhere on the hill. The forest near the dojo was my first challenge to overcome. A narrow path coiled along the trees, and nearby was the river Ichikawa's sister had mentioned. I followed Aria's scribbles with a bit of skepticism, but after an hour or so, I finally arrived at the supposedly legendary shrine. Wow, look at that, fancy. The shrine itself seemed surprisingly well maintained, despite being in the middle of nowhere. It made me wonder if someone could be secretly living here, perhaps some secret martial arts master. The thought of a hermit living and hiding within the shrine in order to prepare myself for an upcoming battle between good and evil started to dwell in my mind. I guess it's too good to be true. I sighed in annoyance at the fact that aside from the shrine itself, the ground surrounding it seemed completely abandoned. There was no way anyone could be living here. For the time being, I decided to focus on the reason behind my visit. It only took a few moments before I gathered the courage to approach the building. Once inside, I found a rather fancy-looking altar of sorts at the back of the room. Guess this is the thing everyone's talking about. Silently, I folded up the map I had been given, putting it inside my bag, and I approached the altar. I was kind of skeptical about the whole religious aspect, so I wasn't too sure if this was actually going to work. I don't even think luck will do me much good in a match like this. In my opinion, there wasn't any room for things like luck in martial arts. Judo is all about using the knowledge you have gained through training. Of course, a good amount of talent also helps. There was simply no room for something as superstitious as luck. Clearly, this was going to be a match where my experience and talent would be pushed to their limits. Nothing more, nothing less. How curious. The boy doesn't believe in superstition, and yet he stands here surrounded by the very thing he denounces. Oh, she could, read his thoughts, dude. Upon hearing the voice, I looked around, trying to find the source, but there was no one to be seen. Who's there? Quite the cliched question, but the right thing to add, quite the cliched question, but the right thing to ask is, where am I? What are you talking about? Show yourself. Not yet. Entertain me for a little longer, would you? This is a place like no other. Why did you come here if you do not believe in things such as luck? I came here to prepare myself. Oh, do enlighten me about what this something might be, what this something might be that you're preparing yourself for. I felt a little bit annoyed as the questions continued, but maybe if I kept talking to her, I'd be able to find out where she was hiding, so I imagine that's supposed to say. I'm preparing for a tournament, a judo match. Judo? What might that be? Seriously? You don't know what judo is? It's a highly skilled martial combat art. Haha, so you're a warrior, hesitant to go into battle and came here in hope of finding the resolve to fight. I'm not sure about the warrior part. How fortunate, it just so happens that there is a need of one of your kind. My kind? A hero. The shrine brings fortune to heroes such as yourself. However, every great hero must sacrifice something in return. Sounds like what the others mentioned. Your version sounds better, though. Laughing briefly at the story, I decided to play along and clap my hands together in prayer. So what's next? Do I offer up my allowance or something? Don't be silly. Money is of little importance to a hero. For you, the sacrifice will be something of much greater value. I will be looking forward to seeing what destiny has in store for you. As if on cue, I began to feel nauseated the moment the girl's words reached my ears, my head spinning wildly. Slowly, I staggered backwards, collapsing onto my back. As my vision grew blurry, the sound of approaching footsteps could be heard. Good luck, hero. You're gonna need it. Despite my attempts to back up, all I managed was a brief look at the girl. The sight of a horns and tail left many questions, but before I had the chance to utter even a single word, my consciousness succumbed to darkness. Well, you know, it's not the worst last sight to have, you know? Not the worst one. Rays of sunlight stirred me back to life, a groan of annoyance leaving my mouth while I tried to get back onto my feet. I felt a bit dizzy, but the first thing I noticed was that I was no longer at the shrine. Instead, it looked like the forest near the dojo. Of course, my first thought was to look around to see if I could find the girl from before, but not a trace of her presence remained. To make things even stranger, the path that I had followed amidst the trees seemed better maintained than I remembered. I should probably head home. That thought was cut short when the sound of several female voices could be heard nearby. Get back here! Hikage? Hikage? Is that like Hokage, like from Naruto? Hikage, stop them at once. Just what do you think I'm doing? I'm chasing him. I'm trying to stop him. Yaha! I think they noticed what's missing, One-sama. Keep running, little one, and we might just make it. Just when I thought this day couldn't get any weirder, the sound of heavy footfalls could be heard nearby. Good lord. There's so much going on screen. What in the world is going on here? Further ahead, I saw a couple of girls in fast pursuit of even more girls. However, there was something off about this scene, something that didn't make any sense. The girls being chased had the ears and tail of an animal, and the pursuers appeared to be armed with the katana and naginata. I think that's like a short sword, or maybe that's that spear thing she's holding. I'm assuming that's the spear thing, and because I only see like this katana, and then I'm assuming that's what that is. Anyway, you conniving fox, come back here at once. Return what you stole immediately. Give me back my panties! Hikage, how could you say something out loud like that? Haha, panties, panties. Haha, oh no, help, save us from the rampaging women, hee hee. As I watched the girls run off, I couldn't help but find myself struggling with the decision to just leave them be. While I didn't know what in the world was going on, the two girls armed with a rather realistic looking props, surely they couldn't be real, had me worried. Yeah, surely they couldn't be real. Surely. I just want to point out that, like, he just saw a girl with horns and a tail, which, yes, I mean, it's as he was blacking out, but, like, I feel like you already saw something a little weird, right? So, you know, whatever. I mean, at the same time, he probably didn't have time to study that other girl either, so, you know, whatever. I couldn't very well call myself a hero if I let something like this go by without acting. I'm so gonna regret this. Mumbling in annoyance, I chased after the girls. Hikage, go around to the left. Right. I said left. Why do you always undermine me? I wasn't saying right. I was, you know what? Never mind. Just run after him. As I was chasing the girls, I noticed that the trees seemed to be getting denser, making it gradually more difficult to navigate along the path. One-sama, I don't think I can run much more. I'm starting to feel a bit. Just a little longer, Mako. I'm assuming that's how you'd pronounce that. Just a little longer, Mako. We're almost... Mako! Not that! Not now! Sorry, One-sama. Scissor attack! I arrived just in time to find a scene taken straight from an action movie. The girl with the blonde hair had collapsed, held in her companion's protective embrace. The two armed girls were approaching them, almost unmistakably, with killing instincts running amok. Any seasoned martial artist would have felt it. Those girls were going in for a beating if I didn't stop them. We've got you now, thieves. I'm going to personally drag your sorry butts back to town and have you both put in the stocks. Maybe I'll even show you how it feels to run around without any undies on. Yeah, although I must admit, having a breeze down there does feel kind of nice. Keeps me feeling fresh and tingly. Hikage, goodness, don't you have any shame? This isn't about you. It's about our undergarments stolen and those two criminals being brought to justice. One-sama, it hurts. My head hurts. Shh, it's gonna be okay, little one. Hey, guards, if you're so desperate to have your underwear back, then here, catch. Stop it right there. However, before I was unable to interrupt the conversation, the silver-haired girl tossed something into the air. Oh, he's gonna catch up and they're all gonna jump him, dude. Whatever it was flying straight towards my head. The two samurai girls instantly grew flustered. Ah, I can't see! Who the hell tosses a... Peeling the items off my face, I raised them into the air, looking like a professor examining an important sample while the thieves made their escape. A pink bra and lacy black panties. Oh boy, I knew this wasn't gonna end well. Ah, you there! Are you in cahoots with those crafty foxes? And hand those back immediately. They're evidence of a crime and not for anyone else to touch. Drop the panties right now. I'm innocent until proven guilty. It's one of the golden rules of the court. Just stop pointing those weapons at me so I can hand over your undies without being turned into shish kebab. What? Nope, stop, shut up! Just drop the evidence and walk away. I am Mio Tsukino, chief of the village guards, and I'm ordering you to drop what you're holding right now. I don't know of any village guards, and I seriously doubt a cop would go around dressed like that and wielding a katana. More importantly, the ground here is muddy and dirty. Are you sure I should drop the evidence here? I mean, I could, but... Yeah! Before I could react, the pink-haired girl lunged towards me, the pointy end of her naginata aiming for my gut. My reflexes caught on just in time, and I was able to palm away the spear as it sailed through the air. I struck upwards on the wooden shaft of the weapon, sending it up into the air and causing the girl to lose her balance. Narumi, I did not order you to attack... Or maybe it's a Narumi? Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, fine, I'll give them back. Jeez, just my luck to find a bunch of crazy girls with weapons. Extending the hand that held the undies, I tried to hand them over, something that I would soon end up regretting. Ha, you think I'd fall for something so simple? Fool, you may have fooled me once, but I won't let that happen again. The woman swung her weapon wide, arcing the thick wooden pole into my side before I could dodge. She then lunged forwards and grabbed me tightly, pulling my arms around behind my back, leaving me with sore ribs and in a prone position. I could have fought back, but I figured it would only lead to more fighting. With the possibility of ending up stabbed, I decided to remain passive. The sword-wielding girl stepped forward and grabbed the silky underwear from my hand triumphantly. Your methods might be crude, but they do get results, Hikage. Tie him up, we'll bring him in for questioning. He probably knows where those pesky thieves are hiding. Right. And people wonder why criminals want to resist at all costs. I mumbled this weakly as the girl with the naginata tied my wrists together with rope, and I soon felt myself dragged by the duo towards the city. Surely, once we're out of the forest, you two will stop this act of yours and let me go, right? As much as I like to fool around, I have more important things to do. The city? Ha! We're not taking you all the way there. You'll be spending the night in the village cells, thief. Who are you calling a thief? I'm the victim. First, I get undies tossed to my face, then I had to deal with physical abuse, and now these accusations? Besides, there's no village around these parts. It's a city, you know, Tsukino Toshi? Silence, Hikage. If he speaks again before we get to the village, you have my permission to knock him unconscious. Tsundere Tyrant? Heh, that's funny. And that's how I ended up on my way to a jail cell, cuffed and dragged by two girls, both of who I started to suspect were crazy. You know, as the way things go. When we exited the forest, alarm set off in my mind. The city I had lived in my whole life, it was gone. You've got to be kidding me. If I wasn't in Tsukino Toshi, then where the hell was I? Hey, no talking. Come on, I don't want to bop you that much, kinda. Maybe a punch or two. I just want to know how the heck you blocked my strike so easily. Your attack had a lot of power behind it, but it was kind of predictable. With the right movement and enough force, that's the result you get. Anyway, I'll play along for a bit. Where in the world are we? This clearly isn't my hometown. I mean, the buildings look more like they belong in some sort of classic samurai movie. Huh? What the heck is a move? This is Harumaru? It's been here forever? Hikage, I thought I told you to silence him if he spoke again. Actually, you told me that I could, but you didn't tell me that I had to. Must be tough, being the subordinate of someone like that. Be quiet or I will silence you for good. This time it didn't seem to be an idle threat. The girl had unsheathed her katana and was now resting the edge of the blade against my throat. I was already starting to regret having played a hero earlier. Hopefully, there would be someone with more common sense in the village. Several minutes later. I'm willing to bet there wasn't. I soon found myself confined within a small room. The stern-looking tsundere of a girl glaring down at me, while the other girl, who was supposedly called Narumi, seemed to have softened up a little. From what I had gathered during their conversations, they had called the village elder to help oversee my questioning. What purpose did those thieves have, or are you just some perverts who get off sniffing girls' undies? I ought to castrate you. I already told you I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not to mention, anything worn by you would probably smell sour. I couldn't see too well from the cell where they had put me, but I was almost certain I could hear Narumi laughing nearby. Tsukino Dono, please calm down. You brought him in to learn the reason behind his presence in the forest, didn't you? That is correct, Elder. I believe he is working together with the Fox Spirits to steal panties and other undergarments. Objection! Huh? What do you object to, young man? The evidence surrounding the defendant's accusation was fabricated, Narumi. Would you please answer this question for the judge? Was the defendant, that is myself, anywhere near... Or was the defendant, that is myself, anywhere near those girls while you two were in pursuit of them? Hold it! Just who are you calling a judge here? Lower your voice or I will strike you down. Hey, Mio, maybe the whole angry accusation thing isn't working. This guy clearly isn't a bandit. We could just ask him why he was up there in the woods. If he has a valid reason, then sure. If not, then he's clearly a panty thief, and we'll use him as a punching bag out in the yard. Finally, and here I thought this was about to become a turnabout case. I sighed deeply, partly amused by my own act despite the seriousness of the situation. Who would have ever thought mimicking characters from games and movies would end up getting me out of trouble? As long as I didn't become an ace prisoner, things would hopefully turn out for the better. I'm assuming he's referring to the ace, what is it? Ace attorney, like the you know, detective, not detective, it's like the lawyer, attorney games, whatever it is, you know what it is. A wise idea, Narumi. How about you start by giving us your name? Gushkin. Takahiro Gushkin. Luckily that's his last name, thank God. His first name's Takahiro, so don't you worry about it. So what are you doing in the forest while these two were chasing the thieves? I'm not entirely sure myself. One moment I was praying at a shrine hidden inside the forest, and the next thing I knew, some weird girl was talking to me. A girl? Yes, a girl with horns and a tail. I know it sounds weird, but I could have sworn I saw her before I must have fainted. After that, I woke up somewhere in the forest. Tsukino, Narumi, do you recall the stories behind the shrine near our village? Forgive me, Elder, I do not recall. I know it's a place of high spiritual energy, a sacred place, but I can't remember the details. Sorry, Grandfather. That shrine belongs to oh my lord, Tsuyuri? Maybe like pronounce the T a little less, so it's Tsuyuri, maybe, sorta, ish. A powerful spirit that has been watching over our village for as long as anyone can remember. Unlike the Fox Spirits, we tend to avoid going too deep into the forest. I still think... Hang on a minute. Ow. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I still think I could get rid of those pests once and for all if you would just let me go in and find their home. It's probably hidden in some damp cave on the hill or in some run-down old house. Humans and spirits rarely mingle, even if they meet with good intentions. The fact that this lad says he saw a spirit means that there's a chance he was there for a reason. Not to mention, did you take a good look at him yet? He seems disoriented and his clothes look foreign. He did seem to be talking gibberish earlier. He claimed to be from a city near here, but there's nothing like that around for miles. He was also talking about something called a move, and he used some fighting techniques that I've never even seen before. He's still a pervert. I'm not a pervert. It's perfectly natural for a guy my age to be curious about certain things. Besides, if you're talking about how the panties ended up on my face, I had nothing to do with it, tsundere tyrant. What did you just call me? I'd have smashed you to pieces, you brat. Oh, wait, now that I think about it, those two foxes looked like they were just abandoning them. But Grandfather, what does all this mean? I can't be certain. However, I believe it is unlikely that he's working together with the Fox Spirits. Still, I've never heard of any human to come upon a spirit such as Tsuyuri. I dare say he might not even be of this world. Wait, are you trying to say I'm from a different world now? For the love. Anyway, sorry, something IRL problems. Ow. Why am I always bleeding? Sad face. Anyway, that would be the most logical explanation. In what world would that be considered logical? But I have an important tournament to participate in 2 weeks from now. Well, no one has ever experienced something like this before. We'll have to think of how to deal with you, or if it is even possible to get you back to your own world. In the meantime, a night in the cell won't hurt. He did assault a village guard, and he resisted arrest. He could stay here until he rots for all I care, but I suspect the Elder will wish to talk with you soon. Hikage, I'm going to clean myself off. I suggest you do the same. I would take offense for implying that I stink, but that was one hell of a run. Those fox spirits run fast. I would still like to know more about those techniques, Takahiro. If you do happen to stick around, I might want to go a few rounds with you. It's not like I'll be going anywhere for the time being. It is only for a few hours while we discuss what to do with you. A person such as yourself would end up causing quite the commotion amongst the villagers, so it's necessary to convince them that you mean no harm before we release you. And that's how I found myself stuck in a jail cell, while the people responsible for my situation left to deal with personal errands. This sucks. As if being sent to a different world wasn't bad enough. I'm stuck in jail with my only company being a pair of beautiful, magnificent, majestic fox sisters, you lucky boy. A pair of beautiful... Wait a second. Haha, yahoo! Hi there, panty boy. Oh, I know that was cringy. Shut up. It was so bad. I don't want to talk about it. A familiar face appeared at the top of my cell, a blonde girl with golden eyes. As I watched, she flipped over, landed in front of the cell, waving her hands at me. From the side of the cell, another girl appeared, a wry grin on her face. Ah, it's the panty thieves. If you're here to reclaim your hostages, they're already back where they belong. Nope, we saw the guards go into the baths and swipe the maiden silk again. Look. With that, she pulled out a pair of lacy silken underwear from her sleeve and snatched it out and stretched it out with her thumb, showing off her panties prize to me. You came all the way here just to snatch their underwear again, and I'm not sure the Tsundere Tyrant fits that label. The cutie with the katana? You'd be surprised. I happen to believe that she's as innocent as one can be. She seems far too uptight to let any man touch her. As for returning to the village, we have a debt to settle. I smiled weakly as I wondered what the fox meant by debt. I'm not sure what this debt of yours might be, but I think you'd better leave before those two return. That you don't seem to be on friendly terms with the samurai girls. Wait, if he doesn't know about it, we can just leave. We can just leave, Onesama. Mako, this is not how we do things. Young man, your actions allowed us to escape our earlier predicament without harm. This places us in your debt, for which we are now repaying you. Mako, do the magic. Okay. The younger girl walked forward and placed her hands on the locked door of the cell. She began mumbling something that I couldn't even begin to understand, and her eyes began glowing brightly. Different worlds, girls wielding weapons, and now fox girls using magic. Next on the list, I'm going to find a talkative magical sword and end up destined to save the world. That said, I was curious to see what this magic would do to the lock, keeping me imprisoned. Ha! The glow flared for a moment before quickly fading. There was a hiss and then a sizzle as the lock dripped to the floor in a mess of melted metal. Well done, Mako. You did very well. Relax for now, alright? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most surprised about. The fact that a girl just melted a steel lock, or that I'm starting to accept this as normal. This level of magic is extraordinary. Mako is quite gifted. Sad face. But as I said, we are here to settle our debt. If you would like, we could escort you back to the forest where we first encountered you. I do, however, suggest that you decide quickly. The guards do not bathe for long. I should know. I have observed them for a while. Well, I don't plan on sticking around, so I'll gladly accept the two of you, accompany the two of you out of here. Maybe I'll be able to find my way back home. Lead the way, peeping Tammy. Machiko Sakurano, maybe, not Tammy. Takahiro, but I suggest we keep the introductions for later. Very well then, Taka-kun, that's adorable. Taka-kun, follow. Ow, my poor lips, dude, they're so chapped, man, the stupid cold. Ah, it hurts so bad. As I was stepping out of the cell, the sound of a familiar voice boomed in the distance. Thieves! Crafty fox kleptomaniacs, I'll skin you alive! I think that's our cue to get out of here. And with that, the three of us darted out of the prison. Yeah, well, you know, it happens. And that's pretty much what happened. According to the village elder, there's supposed to be a shrine somewhere in the forest. It must be the same one I visited before I got caught up in this mess. Goodness, that sounds like a terrible situation. I know that spirits such as Tsuyuri enjoy playing with people, but this seems a little cruel of her. I would speak with her myself, but fox spirits are not allowed near the shrine. Huh? I thought the reason we never go there was because you got all flustered over whenever Su-chan's around. Shut up, Mako! I didn't realize a panty thief could get embarrassed like that, but maybe you two could show me the way to the shrine? Somehow, the layout of this forest seems different from my world, which pretty much meant that Arya's map was useless now. You do understand, you do not understand. There is more to the ways of us spirits than meets the eye, Taka-kun. I will try to navigate you to the shrine, but if Tsuyuri does not want us there, then we will simply not get there. The only places we can navigate to directly are our home and the village. I could use gate magic, but that would take a super long time to cast, and unless I concentrate really hard, it usually ends up taking us someplace not fun. I think I'll prefer taking the ground route, but thanks for the offer. Mako-chan, was it? That's right, Mako Sakurano, at your service. Yay, my first human friend. Silly girl. Not that I doubt your navigation skills or anything, but didn't we cross this path a while ago? Oh, you're right. Why are we back here, Onesama? Huh? I thought you were leading the way. Wait, I think if we turn this way, cut through those trees there, we might... Ah! The girl seemingly disappeared out of sight as she stepped in between two tall trunks, only to be followed by a loud splash. I ran towards the trees and looked down to see the girl, arms flailing wildly, neck deep in a slow-moving river. Ah, Onésima, quick, please, you have to help her. I'm begging you. I'll do whatever you want, but please save her. Help! It doesn't look that deep, you know. Don't tell me your sister can't. She can't swim, neither of us can. Please, Takahiro-sama, please rescue my sister. I guess I don't have a choice. Smiling weakly, I pulled off my jacket and dove into the river, the cold water sending shivers down my spine as I swam towards Machiko, who, despite the lack of a strong current, was slowly disappearing under the water. Urged on by the worried shouts of Mako, I tried to reach the girl as quickly as possible. It took me a few strokes before I reached her, but by the time I had grabbed a hold of her and pulled her out of the water, she had lost consciousness. She's not breathing. I felt my stomach drop. Dreadful thoughts of what might happen if I didn't do something began to fill my mind, but what in the world could I possibly do? CPR? I don't know what that is. She's not breathing. Help her. Please help her. Onésima, please wake up. Okay, but I need to concentrate. Can you find something to dry her off with? Right. Great. A mage without a revive spell. As if trying to steal my nerves for what I was about to do, I muttered those words just before leaning in. All I could remember was my first aid training, was that the patient had to be in so-called recovery position, and that I had to blow air into their mouth and push down on their chest. My heart pounded faster and faster as I looked down at the fox girl. I could feel my cheeks heating up as a blush spread across my face. Clumsily, I put her into what I hoped was the right position, and slowly I lowered myself towards her face, my lips parted. Ahem, if you were this desperate for a kiss, you could have just asked. I know I am a beautiful, exquisite creature, but pushing me into a river so you can play a hero was a bit too much, Taka-kun. It's not like that. I went in to save you. Oh, why thank you, oh valiant hero. For your rescue, I must admit, I am not the greatest swimmer. But, you know, it is often better to get permission from the maiden you've rescued before you claim them as your reward, silly. I didn't have a choice. I either claimed your lips or death would claim you instead. And a bold choice that was. Where is Mako? I hope she didn't try to save me first. She's even worse at swimming than I am. She's fine. She should be heading back here right now. In that case, I believe we have enough time. So how about this, Taka-kun? My little sister will be back in a few minutes, and I am sure a boy like you have probably never kissed a girl before. So how about it? You want to claim this maiden's lips? Don't make me toss you back into the river. Ah, such a shame too. I was looking forward to finding out just how sweet your lips tasted. I'm not sure I want to find out what a wet fox tastes like. Oh, I assure you, I taste a lot better when I'm wet. Oh my god. Oh my god. For some reason, I don't think we're talking about the same thing anymore. I felt my cheeks flushing up slightly as Machiko's teasing words, and I awkwardly scratched my cheek. Anyway, at this rate you're gonna catch cold. Then perhaps you should warm me up, Taka-kun. More importantly, we need you to get out. We need to get you out of those soggy clothes. Oh my, Taka-kun, so bold. Please, won't you unbutton my top for me, if you insist? Oh wow, I can't believe he's actually doing it. I completely expected it to be like, okay, that's real funny. Like, you know, leave me alone or whatever. Wow, I'm surprised. He is bold. Anyway, my fingers shook as I reached down to the lace of her bodice. I'm assuming is how you pronounce that. I was blushing brightly, and my head was spinning as I felt my fingers touch the cloth. Before I could continue any further, I heard a whoosh behind me and felt something heavy impact against my body. My body toppled forwards, and I felt a nasty blow to the back of my head. Onésima, I brought the— Oh no, Takahiro! I could barely focus on the blonde fox girl, began to fuss over me, but it was no good. Between running my butt off all day, the tsundere tyrant, the following rescue, and now the blow to my head, I felt myself slip into unconsciousness. Later that day. Poor guy, he faints so often. Hours must have passed by the time I finally regained consciousness. The first thing I noticed was something soft resting against me. I have a few guesses, but don't be too excited. I think if I was reading according to what I believe it was saying in the review section, I believe it's a lot of very softcore stuff, so I don't think it's not going to get too hardcore. Anyway, for a moment, I wondered what it could be. Little did I know that whatever it was, it would soon be very much awake. I would soon be very much awake. Machiko? Wow, look at that, huh? Oh man, I probably certainly need to censor that. Like, it's technically it's not showing anything, but I'll probably censor it. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's so technical that I feel like we're splitting hairs. So I'll censor it just to be safe. Machiko? My voice caught in my throat, easily betrayed by my surprise at seeing the fox spirit resting beside me. Of course, it didn't help that she was stark naked. My gaze drifted along her features. I really hadn't put a lot of thought into it now, but she was really beautiful. I mean, of course she's beautiful, look at her! Anyway, now's my chance. I had been curious about something for a while now and decided to finally get my answer. I carefully lifted my hand towards her head, my fingertips slightly caressing along a single furry ear. See, that's relatable, that's fair. I always wanted to know what the cute little wolf ears or whatever, fox ears, whatever it is. I would love to know what they feel like. I bet you they're real soft. To my surprise, the fur felt real, confirming my theory. So she's a real fox spirit. As I looked over the peacefully sleeping girl, it was difficult to imagine someone like her being a panty-stealing troublemaker. Up close, she looked incredibly cute, and naked at that no less. The fact that she was lying right beside me caused my cheeks to flare up, beet red in an instant. She's like, no, Sayuri, not again. Is she dreaming? Amused by this, I reached a hand out to poke her cheek gently, but the sound of footsteps made me reconsider. Takahiro, you're awake! Shh, don't wake Onesama. She's a light sleeper, but she's been super tired lately. Sure, but Meiko-chan, you mind explaining why your sister's sleeping next to me without clothes on? You two look super cute, all cuddled up together earlier. Onesama said you told her it was important that she took her clothes off, so she took hers off, and then she took yours off. He probably doesn't even realize he's naked. After that, she tried to keep you both warm by getting under the covers and laying in the sun. However, in the end, she fell asleep. Were you watching me just now? Yup, you were both sleeping so soundly. It was super adorable. I wanted to cuddle up with you too, but Onesama told me off for cuddling with her in her sleep before. I think I get it. She does look rather adorable when she's sleeping like that. Let's keep it that way for now, Meiko. Or let's keep it that way for now. Meiko, it was a new sentence, sorry. I took a deep breath. I was about to open my mouth to say something when Meiko suddenly spoke up with a smile. We brought you home to our mansion. We brought you to our spare room because it has the best light during the day. I was also watching you for a bit, then I got bored, so I went and made some soup. Onesama said, always makes soup when I feel bad. You want some? Sure, I could go for some soup, but Meiko-chan, before that, I need to ask you a favor. I need you to go and get my clothes because I'm kinda naked here. I lifted the blanket enough to allow a shameful glance at the cause of my current predicament. My face visibly took on a shade of a tomato when I noticed Meiko leaning over for a similar peek under the blanket, and I quickly closed the gap. I think I'm gonna stay under the blanket for a bit. Could you please bring me my clothes? Oh, but you might wake her up if you don't go back to sleep, but fine, if you insist, I'll go get your clothes. You're no fun, you know. I wanted to see what a human looks like, but Onesama forbid me from peeking. Please, just go. The girl almost skipped to the door, giggling to herself. The door slid open, and she hopped outside, vanishing behind the paper screen. Once I had confirmed that Meiko had left the room, I turned my gaze sideways, focusing back on the peaceful expression of the slumbering fox by my side. For a moment, I thought about the things the two girls had been accused of. Okay, so stealing underwear isn't exactly the nicest thing to do, but when I look at her like this, I can't picture her as anything but a normal girl. While the temptation to lift the blanket was strong, I felt a little nervous about the thought. Still, as much as I tried to hold myself back, I couldn't rest the temptation of turning to my side to get a better glimpse of her. Gingerly, I took a hold of the blanket. No, Takahiro, neither a gentleman nor a hero takes advantage of a sleeping lady. And yet, who am I kidding? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, the perverted little devil within me won the morality struggle, and with shaking hands, I tried to lift the blanket. Stop! Yikes! I don't want any blackberries. Why does it? As the very sheets I was lying on, my heart pounded louder than ever. Without a word, I dropped the blanket. She was still dreaming, mumbling away in her sleep, but she had scared the living daylights out of me. After a while, Meiko returned and deposited my new dry clothes in my lap. She smiled at me and lingered for a few moments as if expecting me to begin changing. Oh, of course, the soup. I'll go get it now, but don't change too slowly. Okay? I bet you'd hate me but don't change too slowly, okay? I bet you'd hate me for... What the hell? Why can't I read this sentence? I bet you'd hate for me to sneak a peek. Okay, sorry. My brain was reversing a couple of words. I just couldn't get it. Don't think guys spend as much time changing as girls. Wait, were you planning to peek on me? It occurred to me that perhaps Meiko was more like her sister than I'd first assumed. Cute little laugh that I can't replicate. It sure sounds like you know what you're talking about, Takahiro. And, well, I might have been thinking about it. I'm kind of curious about the difference between us foxes and you humans. Like, it was amazing how easily you carried Sis out of the water. Is it because you're human? Actually, I think it's probably because I'm a guy. We tend to be stronger than girls. Not to mention, I practice judo almost every day. It would be embarrassing if I couldn't even carry a girl. Judo? Judo. It's a sport of sorts, although it's also used for self-defense. Is that why you saved her? Because of this judo? Well, that's not really it. Ultimately, saving a damsel in distress hinges on a man's pride. Oh, can I see it? Your pride? And just what exactly are you looking for, little sister? Oh, the older sister's awake. I was like, why do you call her older sister? But it's because it wasn't him. Anyway, Onesima, I wasn't. You're wrong. The soup's still cooking. I need to tend to it. The younger girl scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging between her legs as she did. I turned to Machiko with a faint blush on my face, averting my eyes so she could pull the sheet back up around herself. Ah, I see you're finally awake, Machiko-san. With you two making such a fuss about chew dough and soup, how could I possibly hope to get any sleep? I'm glad to see that you're well, Takakun. Forgive me for taking such measures, but I feared that I wasn't getting warm fast enough, and I did what I thought was necessary. At least it was a more enjoyable sleep than I would have had in the cell. I doubt the Tsundere Tyrant, was it? I doubt that she would have given you the same service. Let's just say that the hospitality was much appreciated. I'm glad to hear that. If you would like to change, there's a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Machiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands as if to reassure me that she wouldn't peek. Taking my chances, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way towards the wooden screen. Once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you could be so kind as to do me a favor, Takakun, my robes should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed matters up greatly. Sure, give me a sec. After looking around for a moment, I found the robes neatly folded up on the dresser, my heart skipping a beat as I took a hold of them before turning towards the screen to hand them over. Say, Machiko, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it's complicated. Meiko was researching a spell she wanted to perform, one that would allow us to easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was a maiden silk. The only silk I could think of was, well, you already know the answer. By maiden silk, you mean, I guess I understand why you would think that, but isn't maiden silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. I didn't know that. If that's even true, I didn't know that. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I never realized. What's that, Onesima? A maiden silk, it is a wedding sash. All of our work was for naught. Oh, well, at least a wedding sash would be easier to get. I'll just have to marry Takakun. What? A few minutes later. You know, it's like, I don't think that's quite what he meant. I don't think that's quite what it meant. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment to think that a girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind and turned towards the elder sister. The soup is delicious. Is Meiko-chan really the one doing the cooking around here? Yay, I'm glad you like it, Takahiro. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. It is rather delicious, Meiko-chan. Perhaps you could do more cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to getting your wedding sash is to become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I added this with a bit of amusement, following Machiko's comment. Or is it Machiko? It's probably Machiko. Machiko? I don't know anymore. Now that I'm second guessing myself, I'll never pronounce it right again. I took another sip of the soup for a few lucky guesses. This dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. I'll learn how to clean, I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Meiko, you should stop that. You know very well that it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft a wedding sash, and we both know that this will not happen. That's not necessarily true, Machiko. Damn it. No, I'm never gonna get it. It only becomes ever more evident that you're not of this world, Takakun. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favor of them. All we have to do is find some way to make the villagers accept you, but I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattening against her head as she did. It's not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I'm honestly surprised that you've been able to tolerate us this long. I'd be happy to be proven wrong. You're free to stay here as long as you wish, until of course you grow too weary of our ways and decide to leave. Onesima, please don't say things like that. Takahiro wouldn't do that. Would you, Takahiro? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're different species. That's not the way Takahiro Gushiken does things. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounded like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko? I do not recall. Much information is withheld, even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Suyuri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no other place to go. We're stuck in the human world, for better or for worse. I didn't realize it was like that. I guess I'm finally learning stuff. Well, this Tsuyuri character lives in the shrine, right? We should try asking her for some ideas. No. We don't need to go see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to. I was somewhat taken aback by Machiko's sudden childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I'd been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one who can help us? I refuse to go. Tsuyuri is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. She can't be that bad, can she? I mean, besides, if anything happens, I can protect you. Fine. If it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You'll be on your own, Takakun. Can I come, One-sama? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You will not follow us under any circumstances, Mako. Fine, I'll stay here, just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die, or slip on a banana peel and die, or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so super duper bored, sitting here all alone in the same place, day in and day out. Fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around and no talking unless you're spoken to. Okay. Despite Mako's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Mako and this Tsuyuri for her to react so strongly. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a bit better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to go back to my own world, so there's really no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko wouldn't mind the distraction. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Mako along to go fetch some desserts for us? There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip up some cream to go with it if you'd like. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get us some delicious fruit, Mako. Alright. As Mako led me towards the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me that probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try and cheer her up. So, which do you prefer, Mako? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we could grab a few for ourselves first. Apples, I guess? I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of One-sama, who loved apples. I can't remember her name, though. Guess my head's a bit hollow. Apples are awesome. Crunchy on the outside, sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd still be stuck in that jail cell. One-sama did most of the thinking, though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, somebody has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help all the same. How about... I playfully flicked Mako's forehead with a grin. See? It doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours. Ow, meanie. Now you know I'm right. Now you know I'm right, at least. Anyway, let's go get those apples, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab that basket over there. Alright, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and returned to Mako, who had started climbing one of the trees. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from the branch with just her legs, she checked to see if the apples were ripe. Mako-chan, be careful, you might slip. Ow! The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl. I'll be fine, Takakun. I've been climbing these trees all my life. Even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weakly at the girl's excited attitude, placing the apple I caught into the basket. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch, I'll grab the apples near the top. Wait, Mako, unless you can fly, I don't think you should go for those. Fly? I can't do that, silly Takakun. Who has ever heard of a flying fox spirit? Ah! As expected, the moment Mako tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbled down towards the ground with a loud cry. Mako! My reflexes quickly kicked themselves into gear, trying to catch the girl before she hit the ground. Unfortunately, I didn't notice the apples scattered around the tree, and as a result, ended up tripping over them. I managed another few steps and was able to catch Mako before I dropped to the ground. Hey, what a stud. And alright, here comes the next ecchi situation, no doubt. My head was throbbing once I had recovered from the fall. I tried to sit up, but found myself held down by a small but substantial weight. Hey, upside, I don't have to censor this one. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think so. So hell yeah, no censoring this time. Opening my eyes, I looked up to see Mako sitting on my lap. Owie! I guess I tried to reach a bit too far. Thank you, Takahiro. You saved me, and you gave me a soft, well, kind of soft and kind of hard landing. Mako, do you mind? You're crushing me. Oh my gosh, Takahiro, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. As the younger girl grew increasingly flustered, I knew I had to calm her down. Gently, I tilted my legs beneath her, and she toppled forwards, her head resting against my chest. Guess we learned that fox spirits can be pretty clumsy, or maybe that Mako is even cuter up close than I'd thought. What, Takahiro? I think you're mistaking me for One-sama. Nope, I'm talking about you. You have that innocent side to you that's really charming. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people from the village would want to claim you as their adorable little sister once we've cleared up those misunderstandings. I'd be happy to call you my brother, Takahiro, but lots of people in that village are super mean. I don't want to spend time with you. I only want to spend time with you and Onesama. Brother? Brother? He's like, friend zone? Hell no. How about darling? Darling? I don't know if I'm ready for that. Really? Well, I think we'd be a cute couple, a hero and a fox spirit, living happily ever after. Your sister could stay too. We could raise a little family. I mean, we already have a house, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. And any guy from my world would kill to have a pretty wife like you. I held back a chuckle, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect, and yet I was also happy to see your spirits seemingly lifted. Cute little giggle that I'm not going to try to replicate. Thank you, Takani. Oh, that's adorable. I think Taka-kun would be better. Machiko-san probably wouldn't like another sibling, but I'm glad that cheered you up. You didn't seem to be happy earlier. The way your tail and ears were hanging low reminds me of a scolded puppy. Huh? Oh, right. I was just thinking is all. You know about that spell I wanted to try? The one that needs the silky wedding undies? Wedding sash. It's kind of like a belt that the bride wears during the wedding ceremony. I doubt any spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. Oh, I thought it was like wedding undies that you wear on your wedding night. Anyway, the spell. I don't know why, but I've wanted to try it for a little while now. And, well, it's a gate spell, not like those temporary ones. Those are easy to make. A permanent one like a portal to a different place. Sounds interesting, but are you sure it's safe? Silly Takani, that's not the point. This spell, it might be able to help you. While that's good and all, I prefer not ending up in the middle of a sea or a live volcano. I think we should be a bit more careful with your magic. I'm a good mage. That's what Harry said when he told Atlantis they had a solution in their water shortage. Huh? What's Atlantis? A city with high ambition, sunk into the deep due to poor management. I don't get that reference. Harry talking to Atlantis. I'm like racking my brain against nerdy things I know, and I don't think I know that reference. If it's a real reference to a real like thing, I don't know it. Anyway, I think it's best if we get an expert's opinion before we try anything. We're gonna visit with Sayuri anyway, so maybe we should be able to tell us if your spell will get me home. Wow, but Su-chan told me I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was only for her to use or something. Maybe she had a reason for saying that? Like, maybe, I don't know, does your spells have side effects? You're just like Onesama. She forbid me too, but I showed her that spells could be helpful and then I can control them. So she let me do more research. I'm not gonna throw spells around like they're nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid. I'm not gonna do anything. Besides, you seem old enough to take care of yourself. Not that I know how old someone like you might be, but... beware of the dark side of magic. In most stories, magic usually comes with a price. Like what would you do if magic gave you a terrible tummy ache, or headache, or worse, diarrhea? Then you'd better prepare a gate spell to the nearest bathroom. I do get headaches, but those really aren't that big of a deal. And I do get a lot of things for Onesima. I'm not going to change that ever. So there. I already said I wasn't going to make you do anything. However, what you do need to change is the fact that you're straddling me, and you're rather close. So I'd appreciate it if you could get off. Oh, but you're so warm and soft. I could just curl up and sleep on you. Wait, don't go falling asleep on me. Just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that here. Maybe tonight, though. It's only fair since Onesima got to do it, but more importantly, dessert. We need to get back inside. Onesima is probably wondering what's taking so long. I couldn't really argue with the girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl to her feet and gathered the few fallen apples into the basket. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert together. Wasn't too long after that Mako started to feel sleepy, so Machiko took her to bed, wishing me a good night. The next morning. It's interesting, so far I haven't seen any choices. I don't know how long this game is. Which I absolutely should have looked at before I did this. And I could Alt-Tab, but it might take a minute for it to come back, so... Maybe we'll just look this up on the fly with my phone, huh? Maybe so, huh? Because, yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna be. So, I even thought about looking it up in advance, and I, for some reason, told myself not to. I don't know why. But it doesn't mean there isn't choices, and it doesn't mean, like, there's not more than one ending. I mean, not that I'm saying I need multiple choices for it to be good or anything. It could be linear and be good, I don't know. Oh, wow. This might be a one video kind of thing. It says main story is 2.5 hours, but the main plus extras is 3. So this is definitely like a one sitting kind of video. Interesting. Okay. Well, see, here's the problem with that now. The problem we face with this is that I guess I should put this in the Sakura series, because even though it's one video, because the playlist has 2 in it already, and it's eventually going to hold lots of Sakura games, I guess we'll put it in the Sakura playlist anyway, because technically if it's one video, it should go in the random games playlist, because if it's only one video, if it's self-contained. But because it's a Sakura game, just like another one we've already played, and that one has its own separate playlist, I guess we'll put it in there. I guess that's probably what I'll do. Anyway, I awoke the next morning to the sun filtering in through the wooden blinds, yawning loudly. The girls had very graciously given me an entire room to myself, and it was certainly a lot bigger than my room back home. It was still early in the morning, likely a bit before breakfast. I decided to spend a short moment to gather my thoughts. It was clear that in order to learn more about my situation, I would need to pay a visit to the shrine. Maybe I could even find the answers to some other questions that have been lingering in the back of my mind for a while now. The fact that Machiko seemed surprisingly nervous at the mention of Suyuri's name made me wonder about their relationship. What could possibly have happened to make Machiko react like that? The apparent hostility between the villagers and the fox spirits was another issue altogether. Of course, I couldn't forget about the fact that I needed to find a way to get home as well. Just as I finished gathering my thoughts, Meiko's voice resounded from the downstairs. "Takani, breakfast is ready. Could you go get Onesama?" "Sure, we'll be right there." I quickly made my way out of the room, finding myself within one of the corridors of the mansion. Once outside, it didn't take long for me to find Machiko wandering down the corridor, her lips curving into a smile when she saw me. "No need to look for me, Taka-kun." Meiko's voice reached me loud and clear. "Good morning, Machiko-san. Did you sleep well?" "It was a decent sleep, although perhaps a bit lonely. However, you seem to be getting along well with my little sister. Takani, was it? Perhaps I should consider you my rival in the quest for the heart of my dear Meiko-chan." She seems to like it. I guess I'll be stuck with that name for a while." "Oh, is it not to your liking?" "Well, perhaps you would prefer a darling instead?" "You were watching us?" I was about to say, oh, she knows, dude. She knows. "Indeed. It was taking you both a long time. I grew rather curious and snuck out. But I didn't see you at all." "Well, I'm a fox spirit. Hiding myself from humans is like playing hide and seek with a child." "Then why didn't you use your hiding skills to hide from the guards?" "Now that you mention it, the thought never occurred to me." Well, it certainly was fun getting chased by them. Unfortunately, Meiko does not have the best control over her change. She is far too excitable and is unable to maintain the illusion. It is her one magical blind spot. I'm sure it wouldn't have been fun if the tsundere tyrant had caught you both. That certainly would have been an unpleasant experience. Then again, I was sure you would end up saving me, wouldn't you, Taka-kun? I noticed a subtle change in Machiko's voice as these sweet sugar-coated words caused my cheeks to flush red. It really wasn't a good idea. I really wasn't any good at dealing with this girl's flirty attitude. Stepping backwards, I turned towards the stairs at the end of the corridor and replied in a hurried tone. "Meiko-chan is waiting for us." And with that, I rushed towards the kitchen with Machiko giggling behind me as she followed. So cute, dude. "Ah, good morning, both of you. I fixed up some eggs and toast for you. There are some oranges, too." "Ah, wonderful. Thank you, little one. You're getting better at this." To wake up knowing a pretty girl made my breakfast, it's good to be alive. Perhaps you should enjoy having one resting by your side as well." That's a bit overkill, especially considering the condition of said girl. I recalled the sight of Machiko sleeping yesterday, and my cheeks immediately grew red. I quickly sat down at the table, trying to distract myself by changing the subject. "So, thanks to you two, I learned a little about this world. How about I return the favor and ask you to talk about mine? Do you have anything you want to ask?" "Oh, yes, I want to know. What are the spirits like in your world?" Spirits, you say?" I thought about her question for a moment before I replied with a sheepish grin. "Well, in my world, spirits only exist in folk tales. They appear in stories, and certain religions even worship them, but it's not like we got them running around like they do in this world." "Folk tales? Worship? Your world is strange, Taka-kun." "Oh, that's kind of boring. What about your life? Are you a defender of your village? You said something about Chudo before. What is that?" "You mean judo?" "Well, in my world, people go to this place called school. It's basically a place of knowledge where you learn a lot of things before you're considered an adult in our society. But in my world, the defenders are known as the police. They keep things peaceful and such. I'm just a student. I guess you could say that I'm studying to become a defender, not just of my village, but of my whole country." It was a bit exaggerated, but it felt kind of nice to call myself a defender. That sounds weird. Is the Pole-ese like the army or something, defending the whole nation? Your world is very strange, Taka-kun. I wouldn't call it strange, Machiko-san. It's this world that's weird, but no, the police is like the guards in the village. We do have an actual army that defends the country, though. Either way, your world sounds like fun, especially if everyone's like you. Anyway, Oh no, oh dang it, these oranges all have worms in them. Ew, ew, ew. Onesama, did you forget to check them again? Oh, how terrible. I must have been overcome with fatigue and I'd never forgotten around to checking them, and never gotten around to checking them properly. Sorry. Boo, big old lazy meanie. I'll just have to go and get some apples instead. As Mako went outside to grab some apples, my eyes drifted towards Mako, who was observing me with a content smile, clearly pleased with something. It's such a relief to see her in such a good mood. It's been a tough few months, I must admit. She has been upset about that her magical skills have not been progressing as fast as they once did. We do have our ups and downs, especially when it comes to studying. I still remember how I used to dread exams. So little time for my judo. It made me rather sad at times. That does sound rather stressful. Tell me, Taka-kun, what is it that you study? I am intrigued by this school notion. Well, my situation is a bit different than most. While I go to school like everyone else, I actually aim to become an athlete. To explain it in a way you'd understand, an athlete is someone who practices a certain sport, and those who are among the best end up representing their country. I have an upcoming tournament that will decide whether or not I'll be able to represent my country in judo. I think I understand. Your focus is on your strength, while still gathering knowledge to allow yourself a multitude of options. An interesting method. I should thank you. I guess you could say it like that, but why thank me? I believe that your sudden appearance in our world has had a lot to do with Mako's newfound joy. I can hear her singing something I have not heard in weeks. It warms my heart to see her so overjoyed, and I believe it's because of you. Thank you, Taka-kun. I doubt that's the only reason, but you're welcome. I smiled bashfully as at Machiko before continuing. Then again, I should also thank you for busting my rear out of jail. I don't want to think about what I would be doing if I was still in the care of the tsundere tyrant. Ha, you're most welcome. But please, you do not need to be so hard on Miyo-chan. There are many things here beyond her control. But perhaps it is out of our hands for now. I still wish to thank you, Taka-kun. I have been wondering how I might repay you for bringing such joy to Mako-chan. Repay me? For a moment, my thoughts drifted towards a certain idea, but my cheeks quickly turned scarlet red at the thought. I couldn't ask something like that of her. I'm not sure I have anything in mind. I like your smile. I think your smile is enough. You are a true gentleman, Taka-kun. It's a shame, though. I was thinking of such naughty things, too. The fox spirit giggled to herself as she turned towards the garden, watching Mako struggle to descend from one of the trees with an armful of apples. Mako-chan, there are only 3 of us. Your ability does not count for a 4th person. Speaking of a 4th person, it sounded like you two used to talk a lot about the spirit, with the spirit at the shrine. Why do you get so nervous whenever this Suyuri is involved? She's like, nah, that's not important, hee hee. Oh, is that a giant bird carrying the seed of the world tree? Oh, maybe it is. I should go, and... Suyuri Dono, thank you for visiting us today. Machiko is right over there. Ah! Suyuri, no, I'm sorry. I've just been terribly busy. Please forgive me, Suyuri-sama. Whoa, to think you get that flustered. Is she that amazing of a person? You don't understand. It's complicated. There are certain skills that I, as a fox spirit, possess. A subtle way of talking or acting that influence how people perceive me. They are, I suppose they would be considered social skills, but for spirits. Suyuri is capable of completely negating those, and it leaves me feeling rather nervous and helpless. I see, so basically she's immune to your flirting, and connecting the dots in my mind, I planted a palm of my hand against my forehead. Now I get it, you're afraid of approaching her because this Suyuri is a bigger flirt than you, but if she's flirting with you... Oh, I see, you swing that way. For some reason, I suddenly felt rather disappointed. That's not true! Well, maybe. I mean, she has an overpowering presence, and it does not allow me to properly, do my thing. I'm not sure what you mean by swinging, however. It means, you know, you like girls? Oh, really? Well, how about we forget all about Suyuri for now, and I show you exactly which way I do swing, Taka-kun. That won't be necessary, but she must be quite a challenge to deal with, considering. I briefly lowered my voice to a whisper. You're already a handful to deal with once you start your teasing. Haha, you are perhaps less of a gentleman than I thought you to be, Taka-kun. What am I, then? A lovable rogue, perhaps? Or maybe you see yourself as more of a hero type? Of course I'm a hero. A perverted one, but a hero nonetheless. Onesima Takani. Welcome back, Mako-chan. How did the hunt for the golden apple go? No golden ones, but I got a load of good ones. Even one that's shaped like a heart. You can have that one, Takani. An apple shaped like a heart? Interesting. Does this mean you're confessing your love to me by giving me this? Maybe I am. I seriously think Ichikawa would kill me if he saw me in my current situation. Yeah, he'd probably, like, blow a blood vessel. He's like, what the hell? Why only you? Why, thank you, fair lady. I shall savor every moment of its sweet flavor. Mako, how could you betray your love of me, your one and only sister? Did our time together mean nothing? Oh my. But I love you too, Onesima. I have found a super big apple for you. Polygamy at its finest. Takahiro, my guy. Well, we better hurry up. We're gonna go see Su-chan. Wait, what? I thought we would at least need to ask for her permission and wait until she grows bored enough to reply. I know, but when I was picking apples, I found one of her tiny familiars. She said she wants to see us today. Oh, poopy. She's like, oh, shit. Damn it. Following the directions Mako had received, we set off from the mansion. The three of us made our way through the forest, somehow managing to stay en route with the help of a familiar. It didn't take us long before we arrived at the place where Machiko had fallen into the river. They say that a cautious fox is worth two, so we made it past the river without further ado. Do they say that? So according to these familiars, the shrine is supposed to be up ahead? My gaze had fallen upon a series of steps that went up to the hill from the dirt path, a gate standing at the top. Oh no, what could she want from us? She never summons us. She always bumps into us by chance. Why? She called for us, I wonder. You're so silly. I'm sure it's nothing to be worried about. Maybe she has found a way to stop my headaches. Now that would be truly wonderful, but it's no use guessing. With a stride of confidence in my steps, I swiftly climbed the stairs. The girls quickly followed in my wake. One was mimicking my own bold steps, while the other followed with small, slow paces. Come on, Onesama, why don't we make a game of it, to take your mind off of it? We could play Hop Along Dandy. Hop Ha! Meiko-chan. The spunky girl hopped past me, giving out commands that the older girl seemed to be following. They both moved one step at a time, either hopping, stepping, or jumping to the next step. When one fumbled, the other took another step, and the command then switched to the other girl. The panic that had almost set in had seemingly vanished as Machiko continued the silly little game with her sister. The two soon reached the top of the steps, and a voice I could have sworn I had heard somewhere before resounded in the air. How adorable. Meiko-chan hasn't changed a bit in all those years, still hopping around on my doorstep like a bunny. Eep! It's like, oh god. At the sound of the voice, Machiko let out a cry of surprise, her body trembling slightly as its owner revealed herself. The one responsible for Machiko's reaction seemed to be a familiar figure that hopped off of the gate with ease and landed gracefully before us, her tail sweeping back and forth through the air. Ah, Machi-tan, I'm so delighted to see you again. It's been a while since we last played. Have you been well? Hi, Su-chan. We've been playing a really fun game just now. Hello, Sayuri-sama. We were doing well, thank you. It did look like a very cute game. Then again, it might be just because because two really cute girls were playing it. Hee hee. Still, I'm surprised that you didn't join them, human. Couldn't keep up with their steps. I was more interested in meeting you than playing some game. How unfortunate to ignore the appeal that games hold. It isn't healthy to always look upon life with such a serious and worrisome attitude. Isn't that right, dear Machi-chan? That's not fair, Su-chan. Takani didn't know the rules, and it wouldn't be fair to bring someone in halfway. If he learns how to play, I'm sure he'll join in next time. It's not, healthy? The girl took a deep breath and closed her eyes, composing herself. Machiko's right. Taka-kun has yet to learn the game. It's not his fault. I'm just teasing him, dearest. There's no need to get so worked up. I'm so glad that you're all here. One thing surprises me, however. What is it? The fact that your precious Taka-kun is here with you. Doesn't it strike you both as odd? A human like him being so friendly with spirits? The last time I recall seeing such a thing was when Machi-tan was but a toddler. This has me curious. Why is he here with you rather than someone of his own kind? That's the guards from the village. They arrested him because of our actions. He helped us escape and was arrested instead. We rescued him and allowed him to stay with us. It's fine, I swear. He's just a nice human. He seems to be, not from around here, though. You need not take offense, my dear. I simply find it rather fascinating to see a human defend a spirit. I'm well aware he's not from the village. I take little interest in the closed-minded humans of this realm, so your assumptions are correct. This boy is not a being of this world. And yet, he might end up playing an important role, whether he likes it or not. I already told Meiko-chan and Machiko-san this before, but it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me whether they're spirits or not. I like this place. That said, I'd still like to get back to my own world. I have an important tournament to prepare for. Ah, right. Your upcoming battle. Let's take this discussion inside, shall we? We'll wait your return, Taka-kun. It seemed like the sisters could no longer accompany me. Feeling nervous, my steps grew a bit hesitant as I followed the spirit inside. Here we are, the place of our very first conversation. I guess now it would be a good time to introduce myself. My name is Sayuri, and just like your two companions out there, I am one of the spirits that inhabits this realm. But you're different from them, aren't you? Or that was him, not her, sorry. But you're different from them, aren't you? How observant of you. Yes, there is a difference between myself and most other spirits. Spirits abide into a rather simple hierarchy. The stronger the spirit, the higher their standing. Then again, the strength is often associated with experience. So, what, you're saying that you're an ancient being or something? I wouldn't go that far, Takahiro. It's rude to question a girl's age. But let's move on to the subject of your desire to return to your own world. You're gonna send me back? Great. I'm afraid sending you back is beyond my capabilities. Hold on, weren't you the one that sent me here in the first place? I'm afraid that wasn't the case. It was your wish that sent you here. During our first encounter, I did mention that this place was special, didn't I? Now that I thought about it, she did mention something along those lines. I briefly closed my eyes, trying to recall what she had said before. This is a place like no other. That's right. Having spent some time with other spirits, with the fox spirits, you likely already know that there is magic in this world. However, it's not as though Mako-chan herself possesses said magic. Rather, her body is simply able to connect with it. That sounds a bit complicated. The bodies of people who are capable of using magic create a special kind of link to the magic of this world. Try to imagine it like this. The magic within this world flows through several gateways. We commonly refer to them as mana gateways. Those who possess the ability to use magic draw on the mana flowing from those gates. A different term for those people is mana receivers. So you're also drawing on this magic? Ha, no, my boy, I am borrowing the magic of this realm. I'm powerful enough to perform magic on my own. However, this shrine is located on a mana gateway, which could explain why the shrine in your world is said to be capable of granting wishes. Then why can't you use that magic to send me back? Because it is not my magic that brought you here. It is the magic of the shrine, or rather the world itself, that pulled you into this realm. So you're saying that I'm stuck here forever? Not forever. You simply need to carry out the will of the world. Oh, great. So you're saying that this world is a will of its own now? And how the hell am I supposed to figure out what it wants me to do? That's what you have me for, silly. I'm the guardian of this shrine, so obviously I know its intentions. In your case, the task you were given was quite a harsh one. Don't tell me I have to collect wedding sashes and marry my Machi-chan in the process? You wish. Teasing aside, this region is having its fair share of problems. Spirits and humans have lived apart for a long time, but it wasn't always like this. Wait, spirits have a world of their own? Yes, but that realm has started to merge with this one, causing some spirits to find themselves trapped here. Unfortunately, this happened before the more powerful spirits had the opportunity to reverse the damage done. Does that mean that Machiko-san and Mako-chan they don't belong in this world? Although neither of them likely realize this, they were much more like human toddlers when they first arrived in this world. I slowly started to understand the reason why the fox spirits and the villagers were on such bad terms. Anyone would be restless if beings from another world that you had never heard of suddenly showed up on your doorstep. Is that why there is so much tension between them and the villagers? I'm afraid that the Fox sisters became the victims of a misunderstanding. You see, Machi-tan and Mako-chan aren't the only spirits within this realm. There are others which cause things to escalate. You mean there are other fox spirits? Not fox spirits, but other spirits. They were sent into this realm just like the sisters, but unfortunately, they were sent rather far from here. While Machi-tan and Mako-chan were close enough for me to care for them, the others weren't so lucky. What do you mean? Did something happen to them? Along with Mako-chan and Machi-tan, four other spirits were sent here while the others briefly merged, when the others briefly merged. Unlike the Fox sisters, those four didn't have anyone to watch over them, and as a result, they grew rather spoiled and wild. So what you're saying is, spirits going wild? It sounded like a recipe for trouble. Yes, they grew oblivious to the way human society worked, and their behavior made humans mistake them for monsters. Even now, those girls in their games are mistaken as acts of violence, and as a result, tension arose between the spirits and the humans. So, Machiko-san and Mako-chan are discriminated because of those spirits? You could say that, yes. Then why didn't you try and stop them? Because I can't leave this forest. I'm the guardian spirit of the shrine. I cannot leave my domain. I couldn't help but wonder what purpose all this talk about spirits served. Could it have something to do with finding my way back home? Do you think solving the problem with those spirits could be my ticket out of here? Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if dealing with those spirits would solve the problems between the spirits and humans. It would be difficult to track them down, but there may be an opportunity for you soon. An opportunity? I'm sensing one of them heading through the forest towards the village. If you could convince Machi-tan and Mako-chan to help you protect the village, the villagers might be willing to accept them. That did make sense. If Machiko and Mako were seen protecting the village from a possible threat, they might be forgiven for the panties incident. Do you think it'll work? Only time will tell. For now, you'd better get the girls and make haste towards the village before the wild spirit causes any more damage. Now, nodding my head in agreement, I quickly ran outside, trying to think of how I would convince Machiko and Mako to help me save the village. Surely they would be better off known as heroes rather than pranksters. However, I doubted that the sisters held feelings of fondness towards the villagers, considering their continued treatment of the two girls. I wonder how he'll solve the challenge set before him. I found Machiko and Mako talking near the steps leading back into the forest. The two girls looked like they were playing a game similar to hopscotch on the wide shrine steps. It was time for me to figure out how to convince the girls. Ah, Takakun, is everything alright? You look worried. Sayuri told me something interesting. Oh, what was it? Did she tell you Onesamo's bust size? Mako! Owie! No, nothing like that. And even if she offered to, I would have said no. I'm a gentleman after all. She told me about some recent events, and I think I found a way to get you both accepted by the village. Wait, what? What did she tell you? She has not told us a thing. She didn't go into too many details. She just told me that some wild spirits cause a lot of trouble for the villagers and gave you guys a bad reputation. If we can convince the villagers that the other spirits are just playing, maybe we can figure out a way to protect them. And if you show up to help, maybe they'll warm up to you. Yay, that'll work for sure. Suchan and Takani are so smart. Whoa, wait, Mako, calm down. Taka-kun, there's no way the villagers will accept us that easily. Even if we convince their elder, the 2 guards will never forgive us for our theft. I firmly believe that it's better to try something and fail than to regret having not tried. Attaboy, Takahiro, hell yeah. I mean, those girls will probably be upset, but maybe they'd be more willing to listen to your story if we were to save the village. It's better than to try something and fail than regret not having tried, but won't you be sad if you fail despite having tried so hard? Well, it'll only hurt if I fail. Nothing is ever set in stone, so it never hurts to try. Well, while I was rather certain that this idea would work, I knew I first had to convince the girls. With the amount of confidence my tone carried, I was hopeful that it was only a matter of time before Machiko would begin to consider it. I am not so sure, Taka-kun. Do you really want to face the wrath of Mio head-on? If it's for the sake of my friends, sure. If we're lucky, she'll finally show that the dare side of her. I'm up for it. I want to play with the people in the village. I want to be able to eat the delicious-smelling foods and learn all about them. What about you, Machiko-san? Don't you want to be able to walk around without the constant fear of being chased down by angry villagers? This could be the only chance we have. I suppose, with both of you being so enthusiastic, I do not have much of a choice in the matter. It would be nice to be able to buy sake from the human world. Spirit sake is rather bland. That's the spirit. We should hurry to the village then. Very well, Taka-kun. Meanwhile, in the village. The 2 guards, who had just returned from the patrolling the area, found their village in an uproar. Chaos reigned supreme as villagers fled their homes, screaming about some monster that had appeared in the marketplace. Armed with their weapons, the 2 rushed off to deal with the threat. Another attack so soon. First those crafty fox crooks sneak in twice, and now this. Hikage report, what is it this time? Several shop owners report seeing the same girl enter their shops, take food, and eat it without paying. Afterwards, she seems to turn see-through and melt away. She was reported nearby, but how can one girl cause this much havoc? Those useless guardsmen. Hikage, come with me. We'll deal with this one girl ourselves. Oh, hang on. I think that's the door. All right, we're back. So yeah, there's the interruption I mentioned in the beginning. I'm just happy I heard him, because you know, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. The package is here. It's all safe. It's a very expensive package, so it's a little scary, you know, to have it out in the open like that. But we're good. And so now that I caught it, now I can truly relax. So that's great, because now I don't have to be worried that I'm going to miss it. So that's awesome. Okay. I don't know if I can... What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, a spirit, right. Narumi, I need you to ensure that no one gets near. I'm trusting you with this. Much to the relief of Narumi, the katana-wielding girl approached a nearby shop, which had a crowd of people gathered around it. Devious monster, show yourself this instant, surrender yourself, and I might let you go free. However, the moment she tried to enter the building, a large pink mass surged outwards, knocking her back to the ground. Mio! In the shadow of a nearby building, a figure could be seen rustling about. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a girl, seemingly occupied, downing several bottles of sake before she dropped them and turned to look at the person who had interrupted her. When she finally moved into the light, it became clear that she wasn't a villager, but a girl covered in slime from head to toe. I got questions, dude. I spilled that tasty drink because you surprised me. Now I'm sad. What the... Ahem, you're not welcome here, spirit. You have caused chaos, and that tasty drink, as you said, was not yours. You're a thief and a nuisance. Leave immediately. I'm not a thief. And what's a nuisance? You're just trying to act like a smarty pants because I don't know those fancy words. Typical. It means you're a bother. You don't belong here. Liar, this forest is my home, and this place is part of the forest. Therefore, I am not a thief. Everything in the forest belongs to me and my sisters, including you. What do you mean? Don't try anything funny, spirit. I have fought against your kind before, and I will stand strong here today. Hikage, evacuate the people. Seems like the human girl wants to play. Do not belittle my ability to defend this village. Ha! The girl lunged forward with her katana drawn and slashed through the spirit's body. However, the part that was sliced through sealed up almost as quickly, rendering the attack completely ineffective. Huh, that tickles. With the sword stuck in the slime girl's body, the spirit quickly lashed forward, spraying several jets of the slimy substance at the female guard, who soon discovered that her clothes began to melt away. Obviously, it's the only thing slime does. Everyone knows that. That's an anime like law of the universe, dude. It's so obvious. Everyone knows that. Let's see how confident you are without your sword and clothes. Humming the last part with childish playfulness, the slime girl pushed the swordswoman down onto the grass, the slime that had been splattered onto her starting to harden, causing her to stick to the ground. That's cute. What the? Let me go! Cheater! Devious fiend! Huh, you're the one who tried to use a sword against me. Don't you know that girls like me can easily avoid such things? Besides, this way I can continue eating in peace. Now be a good girl and stay here while I grab some more yummies. Never! I will not rest until you have been vanquished! Damn you! It's useless. Once my slime hardens, a puny human like you won't be able to break out of it, especially one who is powerless without a sharp stick. I assure you, I am more than just a monkey with a sharp stick. You will never break my stamina. You will not make me silent. Miyu struggled, clenching her fist in an effort to try and free herself. The slime cracked here and there, but nothing indicated that it was ready to yield. Yes, you're a stuck monkey. Now you're kinda loud. It's giving me a headache. The slime girl playfully tapped her forehead as Miyu continued her desperate attempts to break free. That's so mean, dude. Like the tap, tap, tap on her forehead. That's so funny. That's so mean. It's really mean, but man, that just really cracks me up. I don't know why. Just answer me this. Why do you spirits target us? You could go anywhere. You could spend your days hidden deep within your forest. And yet, you constantly attack us, constantly throwing our lives around like they were nothing. But the forest is boring. There isn't anyone around to play with aside from my sisters. You humans are such a curious bunch, but it's no fun when you all raise your swords, torches, and pitchforks whenever we visit. You know what else isn't fun? Having to rebuild our homes every time you visit. We do not want our lives ruined every time you're feeling bored and wish to play. We are not your toys, you monster. We are humans, proud and wise, strong beings with souls and minds. We will not stand idly by. We will not stand by idly as you terrorize our people. I'm not too sure about your pride and strength. You do realize that if it wasn't for my slime, you'd be giving the villagers a show they wouldn't soon forget, don't you? You're the one who, my clothes are, that's not important right now. If it wasn't for this goo, I would still have my clothes on. Fiend, monster, bratty little thing. Oh, so you want me to remove my slime? I guess you are kind of annoying with your nagging and all. Maybe I need to punish you a bit. The slime girl smiled mischievously at Miyu as the slime that covered the girl's body started to compress, almost painfully so. This is nothing compared to what this village has had to endure. I only came by to get some yummies. You're the one who decided to make a show out of it. You took from many shops without paying for it. Actually, maybe I should wrap you in a cocoon and drag you back to my home. Then I won't have to visit the village to play with someone. If that is what it takes, I would do anything to protect this village and the people in it. If you promise that you will not return to the village, then you aren't exactly in any position to make demands. Stop, you can't go in there. There they are, Mako-chan, go, use your magic. Right. The sound of running footsteps came from the crowd when suddenly the slime girl felt her body growing warmer. Small flame sparks seemingly floating around her body, causing her body to slowly melt. At the same time, from amidst the crowd, three figures appeared to keep the slime girl from her prey. Two fox spirits, one muttering an incantation of sorts, while the other was holding some sort of ritualistic staff. Trailing behind them was the Naginata-wielding guard, accompanied by a young man. Please, Narumi-san, we're trying to help. I don't want to have to stop you. If you think you could save Mio, then okay. Just know that if any funny business goes down, I will chop your head clean off. Right, I hope the girls know what they're doing. Sakura, what are you doing here? You, fox! While the slime girl was being distracted by the fox spirits, I ran over to Miyu's side, using all my strength to pull at the slime that covered her. However, all I seemed to manage was a slight tear. Freeing the girl was clearly going to take a while. They're here to help, so use your energy for something useful, like getting rid of the damn slime. Machiko, have you come to play as well? Please tell your sister to stop her spell. It feels rather tingly. Mako, keep up the good work. No, Sakura, I have not come to play. You are a fool, a bubble-brained moron. Why are you harassing the villagers? If you wanted food, you know you could have come to the mansion. Meanie Machiko, you can't tell me what to do. Not to mention the food from the village is tastier than the fruit at your place. Besides, I just wanted to play with them a bit. But then they started screaming, and this monkey girl with her sharp stick tried to scare me away. I will not stand for these insults. Just you wait until I'm free. Onesima, the spell is almost done. If I keep going on, it might just a little more, little one. Sakura, I do not wish for this to end this way. You know what will happen if Mako's spell is allowed to continue. You might get stuck in your midget form for a long time, and I'm certain you do not want that. Leave this village, please. Bah, you're gonna melt me? That's unfair. My sisters won't be happy to hear Machiko and Mako sided with the silly humans when all I was doing was having some fun. I'll be back. And with those words, the slime girl melted into a pool of water and soon disappeared from sight. Oh, there she goes. Poof. Once the slime girl had disappeared from the village, I succeeded in tearing off the slime that covered Mio. However, as the slime shattered into millions of tiny pieces, Mio was left without any form of cover, causing me to quickly cover my eyes. "Don't you dare look at me!" Scrambling to her feet, the girl rushed away, most likely in search of a change of clothes. With the slime girl gone, the villagers turned towards the fox spirits with confused gazes. The tension in the air was thick, no one knew what to expect. Finally, a familiar figure emerged from within the crowd. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you again, Takahiro-kun, even if the circumstances could have been better." "What are you saying, Elder? This man is clearly in cahoots with the spirits." "Wait a second, those girls just wanted to help." "Onesama, my head hurts." "It's okay, dear. I'm here. Just hold on to me tightly. I'll protect you. So will Taka-kun." "It's a trap." "Silence! How dare you act with such hostility towards those who just saved your lives?" The crowd seemed rather startled by the firmness in the old man's voice, but soon obeyed, some of them feeling rather ashamed all of a sudden. "It is clear that you and your companions did not come here with ill intentions, Takahiro-kun. I must ask you to forgive the people for their nervousness and hostility. As you have most likely noticed, contact between the spirits and humans has been rather problematic at best. I understand their concern, but will you at least hear me out?" "Very well. If that is what you desire, then it will be the least we can do for those who have helped save the villagers upon this day. However, let us wait for the chief to return. I believe it will be important for her to hear what they have to say." "I'll go find her, Oji-sama." Feeling grateful that the elder had granted me the chance to carry out my plan, we waited for Mio to return. Thankfully, the elder brought us somewhere private where Machiko could tend to Mako without the villagers looking on in contempt. Yeah, that's a good start. How many times am I gonna have to say it? I am sorry. I froze, okay? I panicked. Your sword is stronger than my Naginata. What was I even gonna accomplish? That is unacceptable. I will reprimand. What are those creatures doing here? Elder-sama, this is highly unorthodox. She's highly unorthodox. Shh, Mako-chan. These are our guests, Tsukino Dono. You shall treat them with the respect they deserve. Now take a seat and listen to their tale. That's an order. I understand, Elder-sama. First and foremost, let me express my gratitude for helping save this village. While Tsukino Dono's brave attempt to stop the spirit allowed us to prevent further damage, I fear that her fate would have been much worse had the spirit been allowed to continue its rampage. Therefore, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for saving Tsukino Dono and this village, Takahiro-kun, and you as well, Fox Spirits. No problem. Su-chan told us to do it. Besides, Sakura's a stupid, smelly meanie pants. Yeah, take that. We humbly accept your gratitude, Elder-sama. Narumi-chan, Tsukino Dono. And then they all said thank you, I imagine. Thank you, Mako-san, Machiko-san. You really helped us out there. You've got more guts than me. That girl had me terrified. Have you not considered that they might be working together with that monster, and that this was all just a ruse to sneak into the village and steal what little resources we have left? The elder sighed before his gaze sharpened, his tone surprisingly stern in comparison to how he had just been talking. His voice was so harsh that both girls visibly flinched at the sound of it. Mio, you seem to be underestimating the power of these spirits. If those three had joined forces, there would probably have been no village left to defend. The man sighed deeply, shaking his head before continuing. You should be grateful. We would not stand a chance if all the spirits were to conspire against us. Do I need to remind you that we can barely stand our ground against even one of them? Elder-sama, you must understand, due to my situation, I simply cannot pretend to be friends with a spirit, not after everything they've done to us, but for now, I will at least remain silent on the matter. There is more at stake here than my personal feud. Know this, Fox Spirit, if I find either of you doing anything suspicious, I will personally find out whether my sword goes through you as ineffectively as it did that monster. There shall be no talk of such things within this house. Now, Takahiro-kun, you mentioned you wanted to tell us something? Could it be related to your younger companion's comment? I find it curious to hear her mention the name of an old spirit such as Tsuyuri. Actually, what I'm about to tell you is something I learned directly from her. You mean you met her in person? I nodded my head firmly. There's a reason behind the spirit's attitude towards humans, and doesn't it strike you as odd that are only spirits in this particular area? It is true that there are there's been no spirit sightings outside of this region, but what does that have to do with us? It has something to do with this region, apparently. You see, the spirits here aren't from this world. You mean to say... Taka-kun, what are you saying? We are spirits, but surely we are still of this world. Onesama, what does that mean? Tsuyuri told me that you probably wouldn't remember it because of how young you were when it happened. But spirits have a world of their own. Some accident caused both worlds to merge temporarily. Then why aren't there more spirits around? The whole thing was apparently dealt with before it got out of hand, but a few spirits became trapped here. Machiko-san, Mako-chan, and 4 other spirits were unfortunate enough to get stuck here. I think Tsuyuri willingly came here to watch over them. You remember being with Tsuyuri for a while, don't you? That's none of your business. Su-chan took care of us for a little while, but then she took us to the mansion and just sort of left us out there. Now we can only visit her when she wants us to. What about those 4 other spirits? Even though she's a powerful spirit, Sayuri has to follow certain rules. Because of that, she wasn't able to reach the other spirits. I do not know what to say. I need a moment. Might I use another room to compose myself? I'll show you. I can take you somewhere and look after you to make sure you don't do anything fiendish and all that. Come on, Chi. Machiko-san, this way. Whoa, hang on a minute. What's about to happen between those two? It's like, oh man, the plot thickens. When Machiko and Narumi left the room, I sighed and turned my focus back into the conversation. How about the panty theft? Ah, right. They did seem rather adamant about getting their hands on those for some reason. What was the purpose of that? Surely those girls have undergarments of their own. It was a simple mistake. I needed a maiden silk for my spell. How was I supposed to know that it was something other than the silky things girls wear? It was all a misunderstanding. None of them knew that maiden silk is another term for a wedding sash. Innocent, huh? If they really thought that, they could have just used their own. That's where you're wrong, Onisama, I don't have any. You two? Ahem, I think we should move on to a different matter. Yeah, moving on. Sayuri suggested that we find a way to help you guys out. If we can make you trust us, we figured that maybe you would make us the sash. But why would you need such an item? Silly man, I already told you, I need it for a spell. Mako-chan, this guy isn't a magician, he doesn't know what you're talking about. Basically, Mako-chan has been researching a spell that would allow her to travel to another realm. Why would she desire such a power? I imagine being stuck far away from this village, you don't have any way to return to your loved ones. To make matters worse, you're in a place you don't know, with beings unlike anything you've seen before. Now let's say you had a power that would let you go anywhere you want. Where would you go? So you're saying that, yes, even if they aren't aware of it, they must have subconsciously felt that they were different from you. They only wanted to go home. Kinda? I guess? I just want to cast a spell to see what would happen. Suchan told me that if I ever felt like that, I should ask her first and go with it. So I did, and since she didn't warn me about anything, I figured it was just like any other spell. I think it's normal, Mako-chan. Whether it's humans or spirits, everyone wants a place they can call their own. A place that they are accepted for who they are. Isn't that right, Elder-sama? But you accept me for who I am, don't you, Takahiro? I would certainly feel sad if everyone ended up rejecting me simply because of who I am. Surely, not all spirits are good at heart, but perhaps we have been too quick in labeling them all evil. For a moment, I saw the Elder's eyes wander sideways towards the room Narumi and Machiko had moved to, and his gaze softened. Unfortunately, some of us have suffered quite a lot at the hands of spirits. It will take time for people to come to terms with those feelings, Takahiro. Meanwhile, in a room off to the side of the main room, the guard lieutenant was watching over the other older fox spirit as she seemed to be in the grips of a minor panic attack. Oh. No, this can't be right. This can't be true. I'm from this world. This world. I belong here, don't I? Maybe you should sit down or, like, lay back or something? I could get you a pillow if you'd like, or... No, you could not possibly understand. You cannot know what it's like to have everything you knew, your whole life, just pulled out from under you completely. Actually, I do. What do you mean? It was a while ago now. I was just a kid, maybe 5 years old. There was an incident involving those other spirits. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a big fire and my parents got trapped inside. They never made it out. So yeah, don't tell me I don't know what it's like to have your whole life torn apart. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I couldn't have known. That almost makes it worse. You should know. You should know exactly what it did to me, how it made me feel. Pardon? I don't know what you're talking about. Narumi, was it? Narutan. What? That's what you used to call me, Chi-chan. You used to call me Narutan. Oh, she knows her? Oh my god, wow, the plot twist. You used to call me Narutan. We used to play together almost every day. That's how you should know. I was with you when the incident happened, and you don't even remember. The girl collapsed onto one knee, clutching her head. I remember the village glowing orange? A younger girl resembling you. Why would I not remember this before? Machiko? My head hurts. I remember seeing you cry. You screamed for your parents, and then you were calling out my name as I ran. I had to. The villagers, they wanted to hurt us. They wanted to catch us, all spirits. They didn't care what they had been. They didn't care that we'd been playing by the river all day. I couldn't explain it. I had to run. I can't believe it. Narutan, I'm so sorry. The fox spirit reached out for the guard, who pulled back instinctively. As she did, the pain seemed to disappear, and Machiko looked more relieved than anything. No, not yet. I can't just forget about all that. It isn't that easy, but you did stand up to that slime creep, or the one you called Sakura. You risked your life for Mio and for the village, and that's worth giving you a chance for. I can't promise a miracle, though, because she rarely even listens to me, but I'll try to talk her down. She really isn't the cold, heartless captain everyone thinks she is. Thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance, Narutan. I promise, Mako and I will do our best. Perhaps you can tell me more about the incident? I'd rather not. It isn't a happy story, but if you do me a favor, I might be more willing to tell you more. I want to get stronger. I couldn't do anything earlier today. I couldn't protect anyone. I don't have the brains for magic or anything like that. But that Takahiro guy knows some pretty flashy moves. If you get him to teach me some, I'll tell you about what happened. Deal, Chi-chan? I'm not too sure. That seems like a bit of an unfair deal on my part. Perhaps you could sweeten it for me just a little? Always the charmer, huh? Alright, how about this? I'll tell you something about when we were younger, like when we used to play together in the woods near the village. There's a little stream there that we used to fish in. Sometimes you would sneak into the village with me, and we'd play pranks on the shop owners, knocking on doors, running away, silly kid stuff. You'd even show me your magic, your illusion abilities, but you said you didn't like doing it all that much because it made Mako cry. That's right, when Mako saw me transform for the first time, she got so scared she ran away and nearly hurt herself. How could I possibly have forgotten that? Naruto, thank you for telling me that. I swear, I will get Taka-kun to help you. Thank you. The girl stepped forward once again, this time wrapping her arms around the surprised guard, who didn't pull back. As the two women hugged each other tightly, the fox spirit began trembling. Hey, come now. We should probably get back to the others. They're probably wondering where we've gone. Aw, dude, the feels. Forgive me for my absence. I must admit I did not expect such revelations. Taka-kun, have you explained the situation? Or, I'm sorry, that was not one sentence. I must admit I did not expect such revelations. Taka-kun, have you explained the situation? Yeah, I think they get it now, but it's probably going to take a while for the villagers to accept you. Sorry, hang on. Ugh. Suddenly, profusely sweating, obviously. I do believe it will be in everyone's best interest to see the true nature of the fox spirits. While I can't promise that friendships will be forged today, let it be known that from now on the fox spirits are welcome in our village and will receive the same respect as any guest should. Thank you, Elder-sama. My sister and I are very grateful for your hospitality. However, the laws of this village shall apply to you three as well. Takahiro, I believe it will be in your best interest to learn more about the village. Tsukino Dono, Narumi-chan, I leave him in your care. And try not to put him back in that cell, you two. It's like, don't lock him up. You've got it, Oji-sama. We'll do our best. What about Mako-chan and Chi-chan? Or Mako-san. Machiko-san. I would like them to stay here for the time being. We need to discuss what to do, should the other spirits choose to return. Elder-sama, I would like to stay with you for that conversation. It is my duty to protect the village and those within it from any perceived danger, and this includes you. I also believe it would serve me well to hear this firsthand. Of course, I expected nothing. Tsukino Dono. Narumi-chan, how about you take Takahiro-kun for a walk? And do not think that this is a date, young man. You're going to need more than that show earlier to earn the right to date my granddaughter. The man laughed heartily as I blushed, smiling weakly. At least I wouldn't end up cuffed and brought to a jail cell this time. Maybe it would even turn out to be a pleasant experience. It didn't. This is like the next thing. Even the elements seem to be working against the village today. Barely a minute into the walk, the skies let loose, and we were both soaked through within seconds. I bit my tongue again. Also, there's like no perfect spot for this fan because I need it to be hitting my hands and my feet all at the same time. Okay. Ah, that's the spot. Okay, right there. No, now we're not going to move. Unfortunately, I have to move at least one of my hands because I have to move the slide. So, you know. Okay, we relocated. Hopefully it's not hitting the microphone at least too much. Letting out a yelp, Narumi grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the nearest shelter. Oh, ew. A rainfall this suddenly, that's just typical. Today just went from bad to worse. I thought it would take more than a bit of rain to douse your warrior spirit. Pah, warrior spirit. Yeah, I really had that by the bucketful today, didn't I? You sound different from last time we met. I was practically expecting you to shout, "Ha! If you want to stop the great Narumi, you'd better up your act, Mother Nature. Send me a tsunami, an earthquake, a tornado in my way, and you might just stand a chance." Yeah, well, that was before I realized what a weak, cowardly person I am. It wouldn't take all that to stop me. I'm not that great. I'm just a girl who's trying to impress someone. It just takes a drizzle to stop me. I frowned for a moment, trying to think of how to respond. It looked like her inability to stop the slime girl from wreaking havoc had led Narumi to feel like she had failed somehow. It was then that I recalled a certain scenario and decided to act. I swiftly grabbed a hold of Narumi's shoulder while my other arm wrapped around her own, almost as though I was about to comfort her. I decided to use a judo technique, pretending to be the hero of some manga. Preparing myself for a secret technique, I shouted proudly. What? Hey, stop! Something or other. Surikomi Goshi? Having practiced judo since I was a kid, I easily spun the girl over my shoulder and up onto her back in the rainy grass. Why, though? My eyes were sharp as I looked down at her, repeating the words I remembered from a certain manga. If you let one loss break your spirit, you're not suited for the life of a warrior. The stronger the people around you, the more you should improve. That doesn't mean anything. You took me by surprise is all. You looked like you were going to kiss me, but then you tossed me on my back. I wasn't planning to kiss you, and now I forgot my heroic speech. Get up and grab your weapon, Narumi. If words won't cheer you up, then let's talk like warriors do through battle. Wait here. The woman pushed herself upwards and barged past me, stomping into a nearby building, only now that I realized as the building I had been held in the day before. I waited under the wooden slats of the shelter as the rain continued. A few minutes later, I heard a loud thud, and through the doors, Narumi burst. In her hand, she held a naginata, similar to the one she had used previously, but with a different blade. In the moment before her attack landed, I noticed that it wasn't nearly as sharp as it should have been. Yeah! It took everything I had to raise my arms in time and grab a hold of the shaft of the weapon before the attack crushed my body. Pushing her weapon aside, I darted forwards. Pushing my hand forcefully against her chest, I attempted to open her up for a second attack. That's it. Now you're not some weak-willed girl who's gonna lose her fighting spirit that easily. Shut up! You don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna beat the snot out of you, and that'll make me feel better. Didn't you forget one of the most important things in a fight? The woman gritted her teeth and lunged forward toward me again, a wild, angry strike that would have been ridiculously easy to dodge had she not been so fast. Even though I was faster, the whoosh that shot past me made it clear she was not pulling her punches. I don't care, it's not important. I couldn't do it. I got scared, I let everyone down. And that's why you failed as a warrior. I can read every emotion behind your attacks. You're angry at yourself for not being able to stop that spirit, right? Disappointed at yourself for lacking the courage to face them. And you're not some lone hero who has to do everything by yourself. I quickly pushed her naginata upwards, a quick slide of my body, nearly knocking her weapon out of her hands. I quickly raised a hand to flick her forehead before stepping backwards. Did anyone tell you that you had to fight that spirit on your own? Did you forget that you have friends out there who would give their lives to help you? A hero who fights alone is a hero who dies early. It's why both you and the Tsundere Tyrant both weren't able to defeat the spirit. How? How am I supposed to fight by her side when she's so much better than I could ever hope to be? How can I stand a chance against spirits when I'm just a girl with a sharp stick? Miyu lost her sword, but she never lost her resolve. I lost mine as soon as things became dangerous. I'm worthless. The woman snarled as her forehead was flicked, and she quickly lunged forwards again, lashing out with her spare hand, aiming for my temple. I ducked, slid back, and narrowly dodged the swing of her naginata. I noticed a change in her stance, which seemed to allow a closer range attacking style. The only limits we have are those we impose upon ourselves. If she's better than you, you just need to keep improving. Even I have things I want to overcome. That's the thing about martial arts. Why haven't you tried talking to her about this? Because I can't talk to her. I just need to be strong. She does it without relying on anyone, without bending or yielding. I can't do it. I can't be like her. Is that really how it is? Maybe you just don't know what the source of her strength is, but in your case, it's just a matter of finding your resolve. Well, that's the problem. I don't have any. I'm just a dumb little girl who needs to be saved all the time. Come on, stop talking like that. Don't you have something you want to protect at all costs? Nothing at all? Not your family, your friends, your village? You just turn up for a paycheck and tell them thanks? You're right, there's nothing. I lost everything. The woman's next attack caught me by surprise. She flung her weapon towards me at full strength, hitting my arm, causing me to flinch. As she turned away from me, she slipped on the wet grass. Before I had a chance to react, she scrambled to her feet and suddenly took off towards the forest. Oops. Sad face. I chased the girl as fast as I could, barely able to keep up as she picked her way through the trees. She finally slowed down, coming to a stop at the edge of a small clearing. Oh, you're really fast. Why did you run? Damn it, why'd you follow me? I didn't ask you to come. I don't want you to be here. Leave. I don't want you here. Leave. I can't do that, Narumi-chan. A hero never abandons someone in need, and a master never lets his pupil down. What are you talking about? It's not important. Won't you at least tell me what has gotten you all this worked up? I know you panicked back to when the wild spirit attacked, but I think most people would have. It's not something you need to be ashamed of. Oh, dude, feels though. It's so sad. No answer came from the girl. She kept her gaze lowered, rolling my eyes. I turned to leave, but stopped when I noticed two small graves. They looked old but well maintained, sitting in the shade of a tree. Narumi, my parents lost their lives during a spirit attack. I was lucky enough not to see it happen firsthand, but I'm all alone now. I lost my best friend too. When I saw Mio trapped, I got so scared that I was gonna lose her too. I just kind of shut down. My mind went blank. I envy you, Takahiro. You're trapped in another world, and you might never see your family and friends again. But here you are, still so positive and so eager to help everyone. How do you do it? Well, I do worry about whether I'll be able to return to my world or not, but I realize that just sitting around, sulking all day, won't get me anywhere. I'd rather spend my time helping everyone. But I don't think you lost everything that day. Mio-san is still here, right? So maybe she can be the reason for you to get stronger. And what about the elder and the other villagers? Isn't their trust in you reason enough to fight? It's just so hard. I'm so weak. I can't fight, but you can. Will you help me? I need to get better, and your skills are incredible. If I get strong enough, maybe I can finally protect those I care about. Miyu-san, Chi-chan, the village. Well, I'm gonna be stuck here for a while anyway, so I wouldn't mind helping you out, but if you had kept your emotions in check during our fight, I would have been seeing stars by now. But who's Chi-chan? You're not talking about the elder, are you? Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. Can I trust you, Takahiro? Of course, my lips are sealed. Chi-chan is Machiko. Oh, you already gave her a nickname. It's a little complicated. We were friends when we were kids. She was the friend I lost. After the incident, the villagers went on a witch hunt and got rid of all the spirits, banishing them to the forest. I haven't spoken to her since. That is until today. I doubt Machiko-san has changed much from how you remember her. Well, aside from the fact that she might not have been such a tease. No, she was actually a tease back then too, only not so intense. She used to play little fun pranks like hiding a bucket of water on a door or hiding a frog in someone's boot. It was so much fun. I genuinely hope the next generation of children in this village won't take after the two of you. Bah, you're no fun. It was only a bit of harmless silliness. We made sure no one ever got hurt. We even rescued the frogs. It's just a shame it all ended so quickly. Why don't you try to reconnect with her now that she's allowed back into the village? I'd like to. We had a lot of fun when we were playing, but something seemed weird when I spoke to her earlier. She didn't seem to remember anything, and it looked like it hurt when she tried to. It's probably nothing, but you never know. Maybe something happened to her after she ran away? In any case, I think we should return to the village. This rain... Oh, wait, the rain stopped. I didn't even notice. We should still get back, though. That and, I turned my gaze away, my cheeks burning as I pointed at her chest. Your clothes are soaked. Ah, you're right. They're almost see-through. That's not something you should be amused about. Look who's talking. My body's fantastic, and it deserves to be shown off. I doubt your grandfather wants you showing it off to anyone at all, let alone a guy. Anyway, let's get back to the village before you catch a cold. The girl nodded, and with one look at the two graves, she turned and began to walk back towards the village with me following in her trail. Dude, the feels! Anyway, we walked back to the village, exchanging idle chatter. I managed to establish that while the girl was training her body well, she lacked discipline. She led me to an unfamiliar building on the outskirts of a village and quickly unlocked the door. Welcome to my humble abode. Doesn't look like much, but I keep it tidy. You can put on one of the Oji-sama's old robes if you want to, while your stuff dries. This used to be his place before he became the village elder. I never really got rid of all his things. He won't even notice you're wearing his stuff. He won't even notice you're wearing his stuff. You can change in there. I'll get into something else. Before we had a chance to get started, the sound of heavy footsteps could be heard from outside, and soon enough a young guardsman appeared at the door. Hikage-san. It's just so weird because it's just like, I just think like Hokage, obviously. Hikage, there you are. We've been searching for you. Elder-sama wishes to see you right away. Oh, of course, right away. The guard saluted, snapped around, and took off. Narumi closed the door behind him and walked back to a clean pile of clothes. Without warning, she began stripping off her clothes in front of me. My first reaction was to quickly cover my eyes with one of my hands. Narumi, however, didn't seem at the least bit bothered by my presence. Narumi-chan, what are you doing? What's the matter, Takahiro? Never seen a girl in her undies before? Oh, wait, you saw mine yesterday. Maybe you just never seen them on a girl. Actually, I've seen a lot of things in my life, but never a girl stripping. What would your grandfather say if he saw you? I stuttered as I briefly visualized how Narumi would have looked without the underwear, but quickly cleared the thought from my mind. Well, he's not going to find out, is he? It's nothing. We need to hurry, right? So get changed already. It's a matter of decency. Aren't you embarrassed knowing there's a healthy guy in the same room as you? At this rate, this and that might happen, and we're going to be late either way. Not really. I don't mind if it's you, Takahiro-kun. I'm honored. I wouldn't mind any of my friends seeing me like this. Miyu has seen me naked lots of times. That's not really the issue here. Anyway, I quickly turned around, trying my best not to peek as she finished changing. Tell me when you're done. This kind of situation isn't any good for my mind. If you quit your babbling, we'd be done already. Get your clothes off and the dry ones on. I suddenly felt hands grab my hips from behind, and without any further warning, my trousers were yanked down to my ankles, a firm kick to my rear followed, and I stumbled forwards towards the wardrobe. Now! You didn't have to kick me! I sighed in frustration. I'd been wrong. Whether it was the tsundere tyrant, Narumi, Machiko, Meiko, these girls had no common sense. You know, it's not fair that only you get a show. Hey, keep your eyes to yourself. This isn't a peeping contest. Good thing, too. I have no chance of winning. Well, I admit your side certainly has the more interesting view. I mumbled as I snuck another peek at Narumi while putting on the old robes that I had found in the wardrobe. She seemed to have changed most of her clothes by now, replacing them with near identical dry ones. I wondered why she would have more than one set of the same clothes when it struck me. You have a strange dress code here. Huh? What dress code? These are my clothes. Are you saying I dress strangely? No, they just look a lot like your other clothes. Then again, what do I know? There's not a lot of options when it comes to clothes here. In the cities, maybe, but here you find something you look good in, you stick to it. Some folks don't even have spare clothes, so I'm pretty lucky. I guess it would be for a tailor to find work in a small village like this. I'm guessing fabric isn't easy to come by either. Yeah, it's never been easy, but these days it's almost impossible to convince people to come here with the spirits around. People used to pay a visit to the shrine, but lately they haven't been coming. Makes sense. I don't think many would be willing to risk putting their lives peddling goods to some small village, knowing wild spirits might attack. Yeah. Oh dang it! I'm gonna need some help here, Takahiro. Are you done yet? Yeah, just finished. What do you need help with? My wrap came loose. Can you put it back? Can you pull it back and tighten it for me? I've never been able to get it right on my own. As she said that, she pulled her top up, presenting her back to me. You want me to do it? Feeling slightly embarrassed at the thought, I tried my best to keep my thoughts pure as I took hold of the end of the wrap and pulled them back, tying them into place. I quickly made sure they were neither too tight nor too loose. Come on, be a man, just pull it tight and tie it. A little surprised by her reaction, I decided to do as she said and pulled it even tighter than I had previously, securing it with a sigh. This isn't good for my heart. There, that wasn't so hard. Come on, let's hurry. Oh, you look good, like a handsome young businessman. I look more like a monk than a businessman. Smiling weakly, I quickly followed after Narumi, who was already in a hurry to leave the house. We dashed across the village to the elder's house, Narumi grabbing a weapon along the way. When we got there, we heard shouting and exchanged worried glances before pushing through the door. Halt, villain! Oh my. Prepare your... did we cross into a different dimension? Ha, stop it. Never, I'm going to vanquish you. The scene that lay before us was unlike anything I'd ever seen. In one corner, Meiko was cuddling a large empty bottle, sleeping and giggling to herself. At the back of the room, the village elder was hitting a large casket with a lock on it, while grumbling to himself. In the center of the room, Machiko lay pinned to the floor by Mio, who was tickling her mercilessly. Naruchin, help me with this. The chest is locked and all the sake is trapped inside and suffocating. We need to rescue it immediately. Oh geez, they're drunk. Takahiro, can you stop those two? This wasn't the battle I was expecting. I nodded my head in confirmation to Narumi's request and turned towards the two girls on the floor, trying to decide how best to deal with them. With both of them drunk, it would probably have been easy enough to get Mio to release Machiko, but before I had a chance to intervene, the two girls' roughhousing on the floor caused them to bump into the table, knocking over a bottle of sake onto the both of them. Oh, I'm all wet now. You spilled the sake. Wow, stupid. The girl pushed herself upright, flailing like a spoiled child before turning tail and running through the door. Good grief, who knows what she might do? Naru-chan, please go get her. In this state, she'd probably make stupid advances at me. Right. Narumi ran off to retrieve the drunken fox girl. I was left to take care of the remaining few. Miyu-san, you need to come with me. We need to get you into something clean. Heh, you just want to see me naked. What? No, I'm not a pervert. Why does everyone seem to think that? I mean, I do want to see boobs, but I have my honor, damn it. Huh, nope, I'm not gonna do anything you tell me to. I'll stay right here and swim in sake. I sighed and looked down at the woman who was indeed trying to swim in a tiny puddle of sake on the floor. Taking a deep breath, I prepared myself. Tsundere Chief, enemies have been sighted near the hot springs. Their numbers are about to overwhelm us. We need reinforcements right away. I came up with a bluff on the spot, hoping it would get you out of the room. What? We have to vanquish them at once. Come on, private pervert, to the hot springs. But aren't we supposed to defend? Before I had time to finish my sentence, Miyu had me dragged to the entrance of the building by the collar of my robe. No, attack, get to the hot springs and attack. I'll be there soon. And with that, she shoved me through the door with a hefty kick, the door slamming shut behind me. My hearing wasn't perfect, but I sworn I could have heard a yelp and a tumble following Mio's departure. Now, you know. A large open area lay ahead of me, closed off by a tall bamboo fence. There was also a small area off to the side with far more delicate washing. Sighing to myself, I began to tidy up the place a little, removing sharp objects and small obstacles that the drunken woman might injure herself with, and waited. 5 minutes went by when I heard the door open and close, followed by the gentle slosh of someone stepping into the water of the hot spring. Ah, the water's great. Hurry up and get in. Whatever happened to attack? I turned around expecting her to be standing in the water with her clothes on. Nope. However, the sight that awaited me was far more of what I would have expected from the Tsundere tyrant. Far from, not what I would have expected. I've been like, are you sure? That feels out of character to me. There was no katana slicing in the air or harsh words when being shouted. Instead, an attractive-looking girl wearing a simple towel had decided to take a seat in the hot water. Mio-san? Whether it was a result of the drinking or not, the warm smile she showed me caused me to pause. Care to join me? I don't think... Oh, get in the water. Yes, ma'am. I quickly moved closer to the water, nearly slipping on the wet tiles before I made my way in. I folded up my robe, but I kept the towel I had found around my waist. Today's pretty busy, huh? Though the last thing I expected was for all of you to gulp down sake like a baby drinks its milk. The girl said nothing for a while, regarding me with a faint grin on her face. It made me nervous. I would almost rather have her be shouting and angry. You don't slack off, do you? I could tell you that you train a lot. Huh? Briefly caught off by her comment, I quickly gathered my thoughts and nodded in return. Well, I practice judo, so it's natural for me to train my body a lot. I'm sure the same can be said of you, Mio-san. I mean, you look, rather feminine, but I can tell you know how to handle a sword. That shows diligence and talent, and above all, experience. You started young, didn't you? I did. She leaned back against the rocks and let out a sigh. It took me a long time to become competent with a blade, days and nights of endless training, regardless of the wind or weather, all in order to toughen myself up to make myself strong enough. It's horrible knowing nothing of your early life. I just turned up here in rags. The guards found me out in the woods one day while on patrol, starving and dirty. The previous village elder took pity on me and took me in. Everything went well for a while. Narumi's family took me in, treated me like one of their own. Then, everything fell apart. Seeing the village that had taken me in, feed me, clothe me, give me shelter, suffering at the hands of spirits, I couldn't take it. As she spoke, she let out another sigh. It seemed the alcohol was making her a bit more talkative than usual, which wasn't a bad thing. I just hoped I wouldn't end up paying for it when she'd sobered up. After that, I felt like I could do something. I couldn't just sit by while everything was falling apart around me. The village was devastated by the fires. On that day, I pleaded with the former chief of the guard to train me, to make me stronger. I wanted to protect the village, to protect Narumi at any cost. He eventually agreed, but told me that I would need to strengthen my resolve first. And that's why you became, you could say it, a Tsundere tyrant. I don't know what Tsundere means, but the tyrant part isn't far off. I didn't want to drive everyone away, least of all Narumi. But I had to, in order not to feel the pain of loss again. Spirits haven't been our only problem. Besides bandits, beasts, and the weather, the village needed protecting from all of it. It became a purpose, and it made me distance myself from everyone else. Whoop, hang on, I might have gone too far. Everyone else... Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't skip any. I guess that explains why you've been acting like that around Machiko and Mako. That's right, although I'm beginning to think that perhaps we can coexist, the fox spirits at least. I suppose this has something to do with you, so, thank you. You're welcome. It's not like I did much. I mean it, truly. You and the sisters. You may have saved me a life of living in fear, perhaps even prevented my death. I think you'd better tell them that. You're right, eventually, especially considering what comes next. What do you mean? The girl's words were becoming incoherent, muttering something about spirits in the village. It seemed like fatigue was finally taking its toll. Well, the other spirits probably won't be leaving the village alone anytime soon. We're gonna have to figure out how to stop them. But asking Mako and Machiko to help us is like asking you to turn on Narumi. Ha, turn on. The girl giggled at this for quite some time, and I let out a sigh, coughed politely. What I meant was they'll have to fight against their own kind at some point. I mean, why would they want to help you guys out in the first place? I think you and Narumi will be the pieces we need to solve the puzzle. And we can better figure out what to do soon. And we better figure out what to do soon. I doubt those spirits will hold back next time. You sound like it's some kind of game. That's not nice. As she said this, the girl slid further down into the water. It's a bit easier to think of it like that. The moment they get ahead of us, it's game over. If you and Narumi can fix things between the villagers and the sisters, things might work out. You'll have to get as close to them as possible. But I don't like girls like that. The girl became incredibly flustered by my comment, having misunderstood what I had said. Before I could explain, she slumped over, her cheeks a deep crimson red. As I tried to move closer, it became clear that she was passed out. The heat had probably gotten to her. Just my luck. She had to pass out, wearing nothing but a towel. I swear, someone up there is testing my patience with all these temptations. Sighing in annoyance, I carefully wrapped my arms around the girl and pulled her out of the water. Realizing that leaving Mio here would just be a bad idea, I thought about what to do when Narumi came barging in. Takahiro, I heard you were here. I managed to... Whoa! What's going on here? It's not what you think. The great captain couldn't handle the heat. Could you take over here? Sure. That's what happened. I believe you. That's what happened. I believe you, you stud. Come on, I'll take her. I'll make sure she gets a good night's rest. But if you did do stuff while she was drunk, she was gonna kick your ass. I shall refrain from provoking her wrath. The last thing I need is a hangover samurai trying to turn me into a shish kebab. I motioned for Narumi to come over. You should get some rest too, Takahiro, and make sure you keep an eye on Chi-chan. She's a little restless right now. Leave her to me. She'll be in good hands. And with those words, I left Narumi to take care of the passed out captain. I quickly changed into the robes I had borrowed and made my way back to the main hall. As expected, I found Machiko curled up on the floor. Thankfully, it looked like she had made her way to Mako and was cuddled up next to her. The two girls looked adorable, and their cute mumblings only made it all the more enjoyable to watch. I considered waking them up so we could return to the mansion, but the sound of my name interrupted my train of thoughts. Walking out into the garden behind the room, onto the wooden deck, I found the village elder sitting on the grass looking up at the stars. Young man, are the stars here as beautiful in your world? I looked over to him and laid down flat against the grass, finally allowing myself to rest. I looked up at the night sky and smiled. You know, I never really got a good look at him. I was always busy with this or that. I yawned loudly and felt my eyelids getting heavy as I wiggled around a bit in an effort to get comfortable. Perhaps you should, if you get back, that is. The previous elder once told me that all the world shared the same sky. It sounded silly to me, but maybe there's something to it. I mean, it does look familiar. It does look similar, sparkly and black. Maybe he was right. The elder remained silent for a while. When he spoke again, I could barely make out what he said, sleepiness taking over. Before long, I drifted off to sleep beneath that starry sky. How long do you think he's been out there? He's been out here. Must have been a while. His clothes are soaked with morning dew. As I drifted back into consciousness, I heard Narumi and Mio talking nearby. Their voices sounded hushed as though they were far away. I briefly considered jumping up and scaring them, but my body was not going to let me. Maybe you should poke him? Hokage, there's no need for that. Takahiro, wake up, you lazy slob. He's like, oh, hello! I groaned as my eyes finally opened, the early rays of the rising sun making me raise a hand to conceal my eyes from the bright light. I was usually quite the morning person, but having fallen asleep under the starry sky, I wasn't exactly in familiar surroundings. Did the Valkyrie come to take me off to Valhalla? Huh, he's talking gibberish. Did you intend to lie around all morning, or do you plan on being useful? There are warrior angels who've come down from the heavens to pick up the souls of the fallen warriors who have fought heroic battles. Not that I plan on dying anytime soon. You're no warrior, neither is Narumi. Did you become an even bigger idiot overnight? This is exactly why I need to train you both. None of you are warriors yet, but with my help, you will become fine, noble warriors capable of handling anything. I liked her more when she was drunk. It'll be an honor to learn from you, Sensei. Yes, ma'am. Maybe Takahiro would teach us both some of his moves. Hee. An excellent suggestion, Narumi. I believe he's a competent fighter and learning more than simply how to use a weapon. But to fight it without one, too, would be a very convenient skill to have. However, work cannot begin like this. You need to get changed, eat, and wake up. Get to it. But the grass is kind of soft here, and the view is pretty nice. Yeah, but if we leave, these mountains will disappear. That's a convincing argument, Narumi. But I wonder, which mountain would be the most difficult to climb? Mount Mio or Mount Narumi? Enough of this idiotic banter, you bumbling buffoon of a boy. Mio-sensei, could I ask you something? What is it? We've been overwhelmed by the power of your Asun. Could you please bless us with your dare once in a while? You'd like that too, wouldn't you, Narumi-chan? You might need to explain that. I don't really know what that means. Sorry, Takahiro. Never mind, don't worry about it. I'm just saying, she should be less of a meanie pants and show us a bit of love and affection. What happened to motivating your troops? Meanie pants? Will you stop making such a ridiculous comments? I ought to slap some respect into you. Heh, angry Mio. I kind of missed the Mio I saw at the hot springs yesterday. That was something completely unrelated. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop saying such embarrassing things. Jeez. A personality disorder? What? What? As if one wasn't bad enough. You're saying we've got two Mios we're out wandering around? Just wait, Narumi. Soon you'll have a whole army of Mios. Stop it. Stop it. Shut up, both of you. Stop this instant. This is getting ridiculous. The girl, who was now blushing brightly, turned her back to me and stormed off with a huff, her arms crossed indignantly. I guess I better get up before she decides to return and kick me into gear. Thanks for the wake-up call, Narumi. After apologizing to Mio, explaining that it was merely a joke, the girl had decided that she wanted to train each of us personally. We both waited for Mio to show up for the first part of the program, which was to take place in the town square. It reminds me of a training camp at the dojo, although I had a feeling this was about to turn out to be more fun. As we waited, I noticed that preparations were being made of what looked like a festival. I asked Narumi about it, and she told me it was an annual celebration, happening a few days from now. As we chatted, Mio turned up, sword in hand, with a faint smirk on her face. Perfect, seems like you're ready. As if there is something every warrior needs, it's strength and discipline. With that in mind, let's start with running laps around the village. Oh no, not laps. That's all? Yes, and those who slack off will be punished. Now run. Without any warning, Mio drew her sword and pointed at the two of us. Cringing, Narumi tugged at my arm, making it clear that our teacher wasn't joking. Let's get down to it, shall we? Oh no, she's enjoying this far too much. We will defeat those spirits. Oh boy. Quit your yapping and get to running, unless you're eager to feel the edge of my sword. Yeah, she's totally enjoying. Come on, Takahiro, let's get going. She's not gonna be reasoned with like this. She's a freaking drill sergeant! As I started to run along Narumi, I decided to finally take the exercise seriously. All things considered, I was surprised at the pace Narumi was running at. Even though I felt like I could brag a bit about my own physical strength, her stamina was clearly superior to mine. After several hours of running, I found myself on my back. My breathing was ragged and heavy, while Narumi was still standing upright, although visibly exhausted, judging from her panting. Mio had also been keeping up with us, and while she was panting too, she still looked fit to fight and ready to go. Do you do this every day? Not every day, no. Otherwise we would not get no patrolling done. but I cannot fault you for your spirit. You both did well. That was harder than anything we've ever done before. I wouldn't be surprised if Mio ends up being the final boss someday. Your strength and stamina are clearly beyond human capabilities. Clearly, maybe she's some kind of spirit here to be mean to us on a superhuman level. Narumi, would you like to run 10 more laps around the village? No, sorry, Great Mio. Please forgive me. I was just kidding. You think we'll be allowed a break if we pray to the almighty guardian spirit of this village? I eyed Mio as I attempted to hold back my smile, clapping my hands together in a prayer. Narumi giggled and followed my example. Oh, mighty Mio-sama, you who watch over this village, please bless us with a short break, and maybe a lot of money, and a beautiful wife, and okay, a break is fine. You two idiots want to break that badly? Fine, I have an idea. Elder-sama needs his baths cleaned. That ought to loosen you up for the next part of the training. You hear that, Narumi? We get to play at the hot springs. Yay! Clapping my hands one final time, I took Narumi and Mio's hands by surprise and dragged the two girls toward the village elder's house. What are you doing? Let go of me right this instant. Mio, it won't do you any good to be serious like that all the time. Let's have some fun. The three of us quickly reached the hot springs and we were preparing to begin our work. However, it didn't take long for this somewhat serious cleaning work to turn into a series of silly games as I started chasing Narumi around with a soap-soaked sponge, shouting in a nefarious tone. I'm the soap monster, prepare to be washed, foolish warrior. Ah, no, the soap spirit has appeared. Do not fear, citizens of Hot Spring Village. Yeah! The girl grabbed her mop and thrust it forwards, brandishing it like Mio would her katana. I am the village's protector, Mio, Sundrerino. I will vanquish all those who oppose me. Will you two stop messing around? We have work to do. It's the dreadful Mio, nemesis of all spirits. Today's the day you fall. Yeah, never. I will defend this place until my last breath. Ha! Brandishing her mop in a candid fashion, she clearly didn't mean to do any real harm. Using my sponges, I battered it away with ease. Then today shall be your last. I told you to knock it off. I laughed menacingly with a playful splash when Narumi caught me off guard. I staggered backwards, my foot slipping on a bar of soap. With a startled yelp of surprise, I felt myself topple over backwards, bumping into Mio. As I lost my balance completely, I let go of the sponge, sending it flying towards Narumi, who caught it in the face. I moved forward to apologize to the woman, when from behind I heard a yelp and a loud splash. Uh-oh. I don't want to look, do I? It's like, probably not. At the same time, maybe so. Anyway, as I turned slowly around, my fears seemed to have been confirmed. Pulling myself from the water was Mio, soaked from head to toe. Her anger that radiated off of her made her look like the devil himself. You too. I'm sorry. It was Takahiro-kun's fault. He started it. Traitor, you can't blame me for... My eyes caught sight of Mio's clothes, which I finally noticed had turned see-through. I bet he did it so he could see through he could see you soaking wet like last night. That wasn't part of the plan. What plan? He's joking, it was just a joke. Seriously, Takahiro and I were just playing around. It was an accident, please forgive us. Yeah, you should forgive us. We were just having a bit of fun. We didn't mean it to turn out like this. He's right. I told you both not to play around. I told you both to keep working. Hokage, I will deal with you later. Leave. Takahiro, you need to be punished now. What? That's not fair. It was an accident. It was an honor to have fought alongside you, Narumi. My will has not yet been written, but I leave all of my belongings to anyone who wants it. I'm not leaving. If you're gonna punish him, punish me too. Besides, I bet you're only doing this because you want to spend more time with him. What? That's ridiculous. Whatever gave you that idea? I don't even like him. Besides, you're the one spending too much time with him. Hold on. What are you talking about? Ha, you admit it. You're jealous because I get to spend more time with him than you. Busted. That's complete nonsense. I just want to spar with him. Shut up, Narumi. Takahiro, prepare yourself. We're gonna spar right now without Narumi and her big butt interrupting us. Hey, now I know you're jealous. My figure is divine. Spar right here, right now? But you're soaked. A warrior should not worry about such things. Battles can be fought in the lashing rain or beneath the burning sun, but they must be fought. Pff, she just wants to show off her goods. I'm going to regret this. I sighed deeply as I took on a combative stance, certain that something was going to end up going wrong. Soaked as she was, fighting against me, someone who uses grapples and throws, she was practically asking for trouble. This is a perfect opportunity. Sometimes your greatest strength can become your own worst enemy. Get in here, Takahiro. We'll spar like this, knee-deep in water. It'll be a fine test of your skills. The girl made her way to the edge of the water and grabbed a discarded mop. It took a lot of willpower not to glance at her soaked figure as her clothes clung to her body. I eventually made it into the water, taking a defensive stance as she moved back towards the center of the pool. Narumi, if you interfere, I will inform Elder of the fate of his dearly beloved old teddy bear. The one you used as a... La 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 la, no one has to hear anything. Fine, I'll stay put. You'll need someone to haul your body away from the water once Takahiro's done with you anyway. Isn't that blackmail? Oh, it is blackmail, alright. Now prepare yourself. The attack came a lot faster than I anticipated. The wooden shaft aimed squarely at my midsection and hit me straight and hard, knocking me back a few steps. I hissed as the pain of the impact spread, flexing my arms out. Mio sloshed forwards, waves of water, splashing aside as she stomped onward. I pushed myself upwards, dodging another strike to my left. Go, go, Takahiro! I moved in closer, trying to take her thrust making her thrust less effective thanks to the length of the mop handle, and aimed a blow towards her shoulder. To my surprise, she took the hit without moving an inch. If you're not going to put everything you have into this, you may as well stop calling yourself a man. My eyes narrowed a little. I pulled back as a wide strike sought to slam into my side. Growling, I let my anger flare, quickly lashed out, smacking the mop handle away forcefully, and used the opportunity to get close once more. I managed to land a few jabs against her midsection and one to her shoulder before darting backwards as best I could in the water. She appeared winded for a moment or two before she spun the mop in her hands, pushing forwards again. Takahiro-kun, Takahiro-kun, Takahiro-kun. Her next strike was a downward slash, which I caught between my hands. With a grin, I pulled hard of the stick and flung my foot upwards in an attempt to land a kick. She did the only sensible thing and let go of the mop, which let me toss it aside with ease. A swordswoman without a sword can't hope to beat an experienced martial artist. This match is lost. Surrender. I suppose I have no choice. As soon as she said that, she spun around, lashing her leg upwards in a roundhouse kick that caught my jaw, ow, knocking me back and almost landing me on my rear. Overconfidence gets you killed. This fight isn't over until your opponent is down. She stood in front of me, her fist raised in a stance I did not recognize. If she was quicker without a weapon than with, I wouldn't stand a chance of beating her. Her kicks were powerful, as the ache in my jaw reminded me, and she had plenty of stamina to go off of. The only way I could stop her was to use that. That's not the only way to win a fight, you know. I stepped forward purposefully. I didn't intend to attack her, just to get close. A few steps and I had her right where I needed her, cornered and unable to get past me. I took another step as she darted to one side, trying to get past my blockade. I looped an arm around her waist and braced myself for the counterattack I knew would follow. My left leg applied pressure against her knees, sending her down onto them, while my other arm grabbed her arms above her head and my weight pressed against her body. No! Yay, Takahiro used the submission hold! I held her tightly, but not enough to cause pain. All I had to do was to lower my right hand, which in turn would put pressure on her body. I did so, slowly, showing her just what she was up against. Do you give up? Ah, fine, you win. I grinned widely, chuckling to myself, slowly helped her to her feet, gradually releasing my hold. Try not to struggle when I release you, otherwise... But it was too late. Before I had a chance to warn her about the problem with that particular hold, she pulled away from my grip. The angle of her arms, the tightness of her arm my arm around her waist, caused her close to tighten as she pulled away. Blood circulation had a tendency of cutting her off, occasionally causing people to faint. In this case, however, it was her clothes that paid the price for her impatience. Okay, technically, we're not sure. We haven't shown anything. Technically. Damn, dude, I don't know. I feel like I'm worried. I feel like I might should censor it, but like technically, nothing's shown. But like, I don't know. Shit. I'm tempted to censor it just to be safe anyway. I don't know. We'll see what happens in editing. Rip. As the girl turned to face me, her clothes tore, scattering into tiny pieces in the wind. Obviously, as you do. Time seemed to slow to a halt as Mio looked down at herself, let out a scream, and just barely managed to cover herself. Mio, I tried to warn you. I swear this isn't some kind of secret judo technique. You, stay back. Narumi. Yes, Mio-chan? Please get me a change of clothes. Yes, right away. I'll be back as soon as possible, I promise. For some reason, I'm feeling less like a hero and more like a villain. Narumi quickly rushed off, leaving Mio and myself to ourselves. It felt different from last night. I felt like I was walking on thin ice, as though one wrong word and she would begin to resent me with the same way she resented spirits. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean for it to end up like this. It was an accident. So, you found my weakness. Huh? No, I swear, it was just an accident. The hold usually just makes your clothes tighter. Not that. I can't move. I have perfected every area of being cool and unrelenting, except nakedness. It's embarrassing. I don't think you have anything to hide. I mean, you should be proud of your body. It's not that. The thought of people staring at me, it makes me feel dizzy, like I can barely think. I actually admire that about Narumi. She doesn't have a single ounce of shame in her. Well, I think Narumi-chan would be the exception. Most girls would probably get embarrassed at being seen naked. I'm sure Narumi-chan will be here with your clothes soon. I'm not most girls. I shouldn't get why is that word so hard? Incapacitated this easily. It is infuriating. I lose all control of myself. I'm not sure, but maybe it's something you'll be able to train? A weakness to overcome? Yeah, hey, if we're lucky. Can we do it now? Perhaps if you see... She began stammering uncontrollably. Blushing from ear to ear, unable to finish her sentence, I began to panic. I had never seen a girl get this worked up before. I think it would be better if you asked Narumi about that. But that won't work. I won't get like this if there were only girls around. I guess, but I felt as though every male in both worlds were cursing me for my indecisiveness. Yeah, that's so true. At this very moment, a pretty girl stood before me, suggesting that I look at her naked, all for the sake of making her less embarrassed in the future. How can I call myself a man if I decline such an invitation? But are you really okay with, me? I can't think of anyone else to do it. Please, Takahiro, look at me. Was this really happening? That's what I was thinking. Is this really happening? If it was, this was the best type of training I'd ever experienced. As Mio began to move her arm, I turned my head. Unfortunately, at that very moment, the door slammed open, and it was Mako and Machiko wrapped in towels. Damn it! It was nice of Elder Sama to allow us to use the bath. It'll be nice to Takahiro? He's like, haha, Takani and the tsundere tyrant are doing naughty things. Wait, this is not what it looks like. She's obviously screaming, ah! And with that, the girl fainted again, slipping into the water before I had a chance to react. You know, what are you supposed to do, man? What are you supposed to do? It took a considerable amount of effort to convince the others that nothing unholy had been taking place. Thanks to Narumi's testimony, coupled with Mio's apparent habit of freezing, they believed me. However, as I turned to leave, Narumi dragged me off to the side. It seemed like she wanted me to come see her later that evening in return for saving my hide. I couldn't really see a way for me to weasel out of that, so I reluctantly agreed. That evening, I excused myself and made my way to Narumi's house, knocking lightly on the door. Could only imagine. Hey, Narumi-chan, are you there? Just a moment, door's open, don't come in yet. Curious, I found myself wondering what the girl had planned. Perhaps she was preparing a meal, or something to surprise me with? Some sort of present? Maybe she wanted to talk. Yeah, something like that, I'm sure. Whatever the reason might have been, Narumi's voice once again sounded from within the house. Okay, you can come in now, Takahiro-kun. Feeling kind of excited, I opened the door and walked in, the door sliding shut behind me. The room was darker than I remembered, and it occurred to me to hunt for a light. Foolishly, I began searching for a light switch, then I remembered that something like that was unlikely to exist here. I managed to locate a small lamp and a nearby box of matches, lighting it with ease. Look, turn around, Takahiro-kun. Like, oh shit! Hey, I don't have to censor this, hell yeah! I turned around and my eyes bulged. Standing before me was Narumi, only she seemed to be dripping. Taking in the view, I let out a shriek. That's what I'd say. Understandable. For a moment, I expected to see the slime girl, but then I noticed the smell of chocolate in the air. Please tell me you're not possessed by some kind of chocolate spirit. I instinctively found my eyes drifting along Narumi's chocolate-coated figure. Sorry. I was thinking about something else. Trying to find any sign that a spirit should be involved. When I found none, I felt myself growing increasingly nervous. Of course not, silly. Don't you like it? Don't you think it suits me? All sweet and delicious? Well, I mean, you're sweet and all, and not just because of the chocolate. What in the world happened? Thank you. Don't worry about the little details. Do you want to taste? Like, yes. Taste? Yeah, that's what I was told anyway. You put something tasty on your body and let someone else eat it. That's how you get close to people in your world, right? I think it was called intimate. How does she know this? And that's not the only way. What the hell? Hold on. Did someone tell you to do this? Because you do realize there's no way that this won't turn into I stuttered as Narumi stepped closer, her pose causing me to swallow, trying my best to resist the temptation. Why, though? At this rate, getting a stomach ache from eating all that chocolate would be the least of my worries. What's wrong, Takahiro-kun? Don't you want to be friends, or don't you like chocolate? I have some honey too, if you prefer that. I love chocolate, but I don't think honey will be any better. I don't get it. What's wrong? It's because it's me? I bet if Miyu or Chi-chan did something like this, he'd be eating away right now. The day Miyu coats herself in chocolate is the day pigs fly. Huh? She'd never do something like this, but I still don't get why you're not enjoying this. Did I do something wrong? Narumi-chan, you see, this is used to something people do when, you know. Oh, wow, wow. So I guess I messed up pretty big, didn't I? Oh, I'm gonna kick that Shrine Spirit's butt next time I see her. She went to the Shrine Spirit and that's what she told her to do? Wait, Shrine Spirit, did Tsuyuri put you up to this? Yeah, she told me this would help us bond or something. Well, it's like, well, she's not wrong. Well, I guess we shouldn't let all that chocolate go to waste. Narumi, I want to talk to you about what the hell is going on in here? So Miyu walks in. What the hell? Your vice captain is possessed by a chocolate spirit. Chocolate. Do I look like an idiot? This is because of earlier, isn't it? No, it's not, I promise. Someone just gave me a really bad advice. Really? Really? Well then, allow me to give you some good advice. Go and get yourself cleaned up, now, before anyone else sees you like this. Honestly, you're the face of this village. You could have been called to defend at any moment. You think yourself capable in a state like this? I think most people would. I am not finished! Narumi, you are sleeping in my spare room tonight. Takahiro, clean up this mess. If you do not complete this task before morning, you will not get to sleep. And if you do not complete this task before breakfast, you will not be getting any breakfast. That's a bit unfair, isn't it? I sighed, the shouting and angry glances from the samurai girl making me feel a bit too intimidated to decline her demands. As she marched the dejected and still chocolate-coated girl out of the house, shielding her with an old robe, I took a look around. It was going to take hours to get rid of all this chocolate. If Ichikawa ever finds out about this, he's going to give me hell. I'm going to give you hell. What the hell? It's like, damn it! Like, this whole thing is nothing but cock blocking. This whole thing, it's terrible. It's been a week since I came to this world. Spent my days helping out around the village and training with Mio and Narumi. I even tried my hand at repairing some of the damage done by Sakura. That's nice. I still had no clue where I was, but I was enjoying the time spent here. Enjoying everything. Everything reminded me of things I had read about in school history books, from the buildings to the people. I looked to the nearby girls and let out a laugh. The history books never said anything about fox girls or spirits. There were mentions of them in various religious texts, but they weren't real. So, you're sure this wedding sash will be able to get me back to my world? In the end, Mako had been able to research the spell even further, even made huge progress over the last few days. Sayuri was able to provide some details. She believes that the spell will return something to where it belongs. I suppose it's worth a try. It will work. I know it will. I just need some time to prepare. I'm not sure if I should be grateful or worried. Still, I don't think you'll be able to figure it out so fast, Mako-chan. Yep, magic is super easy. Just a wave and a flash and it's done. Accept the time it'll take you to prepare the ingredients. Do not hesitate. Do not underestimate the arcane arts, Mako-chan. You have a gift. Make sure you treat it with the respect it deserves. A wave and a flash. I'm not going to end up exploding into fireworks or something, right? Absolutely. Probably not. Probably not. I guarantee it. Don't worry, Takahiro. I won't do anything that'll hurt you, I hope. Unless you happen to be made of clay, glass, wood, or stone. They all seem to shatter when you try to cast a spell on them. Onesima, you didn't have to tell him that. Oh boy, good thing the human body is mostly made up of water. Let's take a break. I'm feeling a bit distracted by the younger girl's excitement. I didn't notice as sweat had started forming on my forehead, a sudden dizziness coming over me. Without warning, I collapsed onto the ground, my breathing heavy and ragged. As my vision faded, the girls ran towards me, shouting my name in concern. Interesting. Passed out again. I slowly regained consciousness, opening my eyes to take in the familiar surroundings of the room I had occupied during my stay within this unfamiliar world. I was surprised to find the two fox spirits in the room with me, seemingly in the middle of preparing something. Takakun, it's good to see you awake again. You were unconscious for quite some time. How are you feeling? A bit tired, but I'm okay. What happened? You sprung quite a high fever. I prepared some food for you. It'll be ready soon. Mako-chan is preparing a spell that will hopefully improve your condition. I think you have a cold. You were so hot and sweaty, I had to get you out of your clothes to wash them. I had to get you out of your clothes, like a pause, to wash them. My head still felt a little bit fuzzy from the rest, but I was probably just still exhausted from the constant training. I guess even a hero gets sick sometimes. It took me a moment to realize what Machiko had said. Raising the blanket, I found myself left in nothing but a pair of shorts. I instantly blushed. Why would you take my clothes? Being near naked in the presence of someone as pretty as Machiko, I kept the blanket close enough to be a second layer of skin. I'm almost ready, Onesama. Ooh, look at the magic. Machiko suddenly slipped past me, startling me in the process as her hands gently grasped my shoulders, pulling me against her. None of our robes fit you. This is the best we could do. I need you to relax. Easier said than done. Who would be able to relax with a girl hugging them? The lack of clothes only made me more nervous. Just lean back against me and watch. Machiko-chan is about to give you a demonstration of her powers. It would be rude not to pay attention, and I would hate to have to punish you for being rude. As those words were whispered into my ear like the temptations of a succubus, I kept my eyes on the younger sibling. The sight of the young fox spirit, seemingly in the middle of preparing some sort of ritualistic spell, caused me to momentarily forget about my embarrassment. Don't be alarmed if you feel any unusual sensations. Once the spell takes hold, it usually takes a few moments to flow through you, just like the Force. Feel free to grab hold of me if you need to. Despite my attempt to protest, I decided that it would be best not to worry too much about it. It wasn't like she was going to blow me up or anything. As though in my daze, I watched as small growing orbs started to gather in the room, urged on by the soft whispers of the young fox spirit who has finally started her spell. Maybe I should accept Machiko's invitation before something blew up in my face. And wha! Hey, magic. As I watched, the girl began to swirl her arms around. Tiny balls of light, like fireflies, began to appear in the vortex of her swirling hands spinning around her. The light had a warm feeling to it, not hurtful to the eyes, but still more intense than a candle or a light bulb. Finally, she began to move her whole body, a dance of sorts that made the light flare even bigger. It makes me jealous seeing her like this, not of her power, but her beauty. In this moment, she's the most beautiful creature in the world. I won't disagree with you there. But would you choose her over me? Which do you like better, maturity or youthful vigor? Or perhaps a stern tsundere is more your type? Or are you... I could tell she was just poking fun at me, despite my current state. I was about to offer her a reply in return when I felt a tinkle inside me. It felt similar to the sensation of swallowing fizzing candy, although only throughout my entire body. Oh, this feels weird. And it's done. He didn't even explode. Yay. Wait, what? Tell me, do you feel any better, Takakun? I feel a bit weird, like my whole body's tingling. My entire body's tingling. I really hope I don't explode. If you were going to explode, you would have done it by now. You'll be super fine in no time at all. Dinner. Almost as soon as she had finished her spell, Mako clutched her head in her hands and fell to her knees. Machiko seemed as startled as myself as Mako's sudden display of pain. As I tried to get back to my feet, Machiko rushed to her side. Machiko, you need to show more restraint. Please lie down. Takakun, can you help keep an eye on her? I'm gonna prepare something that will help her. Of course. Come, Mako-chan, you should lie down over here. Finally regaining my footing, I made my way over to Mako's side. After making sure her sister was left in good hands, Machiko left the room, leaving me alone with the groaning girl who had been struck by a nasty headache after casting her spell. Ow. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my legs. Onesama Takani. Don't worry, Mako, not Machiko, it's the other one. Mako-chan, I'm sure your sister will be back soon. Just try to relax a bit until then. Takani, do you like Onesama? Where did that question come from? Onesama asked, but you never answered. I don't mind, if you like Onesama over me. I'd sure like it if you liked me, though. How do I explain this? I paused briefly, trying to think of a good way to respond, when I finally decided to play it safe. I raised a hand and gently patted the girl's head, offering a warm smile. I like you both, just as I like Narumi and Mio. You're all friends I've managed to make in this new world. All friends owned every single one of them? What the hell, dude? No, silly, of course you'd like all of us, but who do you like, like? Onesama was asking about your type, and I know what that means. Oh, you meant it like that. To be honest, I've been focusing so much on my judo that I haven't really thought about it. How about I make you and your sister a promise? A promise? Yeah, a promise. I'm not really ready to answer a question like that yet. Judo has always been it. It's why I need to get back to my world, to win that match. It's been my dream since I was a kid. A real man doesn't give up on their dreams. But I promise you, after my match, I will do everything I can to return to this world, this time as a man who will be able to answer that question. So, now I'll have a reason to come back here, because a real man always keeps his promise. Huh, that makes me happy. As we sat there for a while, I suddenly heard strange shuffling sounds. Mako apparently heard it as well, speaking as she toppled back onto her rear. Well, hello. I fell again. Guess I'm not all that better yet. You probably shouldn't move around too much, Mako-chan. You're probably tired after that thing you did just now. No, I'm fine. Her tail twitched about eagerly behind her, hiking her skirt up high enough to be revealing. Are you now? You seem to be fidgeting a lot for some reason. Oh, you're seeing things. I'm fine. Amused by her behavior, I watched on as she curled her hands and twitched her ears, using a voice that didn't quite sound like her. In the back of my head, I found myself thinking that she looked very much like a cat. Is it normal for a fox to act like a cat? I could have sworn you looked ready to pounce a mouse any second just now. Magic makes me do weird things sometimes. One time, Onesama had to get a ladder because I had climbed a tree and was building a nest. Speaking of mice, I think Takani looks like one. Wait, I'm totally a Tom, not a Jerry. That's a great reference. Huh, silly Takani, talking about your world, trying to confuse me. I'm definitely gonna pounce you. My eyes quickly scanned the area around me, hoping to find something I could distract her with, at least long enough for Machiko to return. But why, though? Go for it! I spotted a long piece of thread off to one side and decided to grab it, dangling it in front of Mako's face. Pounce this instead. Yeah! The girl began to swat and lash at the string, putting in a bit of distance between the two of us. Happy that I had managed to prevent another embarrassing scene, I laid back. Only to be greeted by the ever-rising skirt of Mako, reminded me of the exact reason the sisters had gone to the village in the first place. Wait, Mako, if you jump now, I'll see everything I'll see something that can't be unseen. Your skirt is about to... I waved a hand in her general direction, averting my eyes as I tried to hide the blush on my face. What? Kya! With a shriek that undoubtedly shook the mansion's very foundation, the girl slammed a hand down onto her skirt, hiding herself from me in hopes of saving her dignity. Oh no, I'm not a maiden anymore. I can't wear white at my wedding. I swear I didn't see anything. You're totally still a maiden. But please tell your sister not to get you to some underwear. If not for your own sake, then for that of the entire male species. Onesama, Takani says we need underwear. As the girl called out, I felt another wave of dizziness wash over me. My vision began to swim and I felt myself shiver. If this was indeed a cold, it seemed like I had drawn the short end of the straw. I let out a groan and lied back down, again clutching my own body. Oh my goodness, Mako, your spell wore off faster than I expected. Here, Takakun, eat some of this, it'll make you feel better. I nibbled on the mixture Machiko spoon-fed me. Tasted bad, but it still made me feel better. What's wrong with him, Onesama? Fear not, little one. It is nothing life-threatening, but he must have quite a bad case. We're fortunate we caught it early. Your spell did wonders, though. The cold just happened to be a lot worse than we thought. Do not worry, if you say so. He'll be fine. His fever's gone down, but he is cold. We'll need to warm him up somehow. I'll go get some food. Can you fetch some blankets? Blankets, but I know something that'll warm him up a lot faster. It's like, yeah, there. Surprise, surprise. Just as I started to feel better, my blurred vision recovered in time to witness a sight that nearly had me faint once more. Standing before me was the youngest of the fox spirits, eagerly undoing her top for the sake of my well-being. Mako, what are you doing? Mako-chan? When you're all cold the other day, Onesama got naked and snuggled up close to you, so I figured it was my turn. Even if I appreciate the gesture, I don't think that's how you cure a cold. Put your clothes back on right now. We're gonna give him the wrong idea. Aw, but you two look so cute all cuddled up together. I wanted to try it too. You're no fun sometimes, Onesama. You did what? I'm not sure what to think of that, Machiko-san. What? She's thinking about when we first met, and I didn't have a choice. You were ice cold. I only made use of my body heat. Exactly. Now I'm gonna do the same. But I'm feeling hot right now, not cold. But you're shivering. I definitely need to warm you up. It's hopeless. You might as well let her do it. However, Mako, before you do anything, you are not to take off your clothes. Am I making myself clear? Aw, but no buts. Neither of you are feeling well. Wearing nothing at all will only make it worse. Hey, don't I have a say in this? Having a pretty girl in bed with me is gonna make this fever skyrocket. You see, Mako, you're bothering him. Just settle down and watch over him. I need to prepare the soup. But I was just trying to help out. You're not bothering me. You're not bothering me. But remember that talk we had earlier and the promise? You're trying to gain an unfair advantage over the others. What promise? Have you been promising naughty things to my little sister, Taka-kun? No, I just promised her that I would return to this world once I finished off some business I have back home. I told her I would... Mako, why are you taking off your clothes again? I want to win. Mako, what in the world is all this about? Why are you adamant about showing your body to Taka-kun? What sort of ridiculous deal do you two have going on? Put your clothes back on. You're technically the one who started all this, and Mako, you really shouldn't try to win like this. Not to mention, I might die of a nosebleed before you claim your prize. What do you mean? What do you mean I started it? And what prize? I demand you tell me this instant. Fine. Takahiro promised that he'd tell me which one of us he likes best. Not his friends, but, you know, the different kind of like. And he's the prize. Whoever gets Takahiro to like him is the winner, and I want to win. Oh, well, I hadn't really been thinking about what would happen if you... I suppose that is a nice thing to promise. Mako-chan, would you please leave us alone for a moment? Aw, why? You're not going to try anything funny, are you? Because that's cheating, Onesama. After pulling her top back down, the younger girl stomped out of the room, huffing and crossing her arms. She seemed quite irritated now, but perhaps this was another side effect of the spell. As she left, she slammed the door behind her, making the room rattle. Sorry about that. She gets like this sometimes, stubborn and indignant when something does not go the way she wants it to. That kind of reminds me of someone. I must confess, though, my actions have not been entirely genuine. I have grown quite fond of having you around, Taka-kun. This promise that you made, do you really think you can keep it? Of course, even if I have to spend the rest of my life at the shrine shouting Sayuri's name, I'll make sure I return to this world. Taka-kun. The girl knelt beside me and hugged me tightly, completely without warning. I didn't really know how to react, so I just sat there, letting her finish. I'm so happy to hear you say that. The thought that we may never see you again, I don't think I can handle that. Even though judo is an important part of my life, my friends are just as important. You won't get rid of me that easily. I know this will make the villagers happy too, Taka-kun. Thank you. I smiled briefly at Machiko before I felt another dizzy attack coming on. I decided to lie down. I pulled away from her embrace. Sorry, Machiko, but I think I'll be getting a bit more sleep if that's okay. Take all the time you need. We'll be here when you wake up, so rest now. Sleep well, Taka-kun. And with those words, I closed my eyes, vaguely able to make out a whisper before the girl left the room, letting me slip off to dreamland. Several days later. Yeah, that's cute that he's like, look, when I'll come back, we can figure out this romance thing. 3 days later, I learned that the festival the villagers had been preparing for was coming up. I didn't know the details, but the girls had been adamant that I pay the village a visit that night. Pause. Okay. However, because it was still early in the morning, I decided that I would check the kitchen first, and figure out if I could somehow prepare the sisters a meal to show my gratitude to them. Sorry, I'm drooling like a lunatic. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. As I made my way towards the kitchen, the sound of cheerful humming made me realize someone was already inside. Someone's up before me. It can't be Machiko. She sleeps till noon. Come on in, Takahiro. I'm whipping up a treat just for you. Ah, Mako. My words were completely cut off as I entered the kitchen and found Mako running around excitedly. That by itself wouldn't have been enough to surprise me. I had already come to know that she was the actual cook in the family, but... There it is. Well, shit. It's like, I don't think I have to censor any of that. I think we're still in good shape. I think I'll chance that one. It was her lack of clothes that gave me more than enough reason to panic. Mako-chan, what in the world are you wearing? Good morning, Takahiro. Do you like it? It was a present from Sue. I like how the shrine that... Well, I don't remember the rest of her name. But I like how that demon shrine spirit girl is always telling all the girls to do all this crazy crap. And they're just like, sure. And it cracks me up. I like her meddling. It makes me laugh. Yeah, wait a minute. If your sister saw you like this, doomsday wouldn't be far off. So be quiet and she won't wake up. Little laugh. I can't decide which one of you is the most dangerous. Why would Sayuri, that's her name. Yeah, Sayuri. Why would Sayuri even give you an apron like that? I mean, what happened to your other clothes? Don't tell me you traded them for the apron. Don't be silly, that would be stupid. Su-chan gave them to me, and not just an apron. Look, undies too. She told me I should wear some. Although I agree with the underwear part, I don't think wearing an apron alone is considered normal. Not that I would mind you walking around like... Not that I would mind you walking around like that from every now and then. I asked Su-chan what I could do to make a human from your world like me. It's like, yeah, well, she wasn't wrong. She wasn't totally wrong, that's for sure. She told me that men from your world love waking up to a girl wearing just undies and an apron. And who cooks breakfast for them? She gave me a pair of her own undies so that I could do that for you. I won't deny that, but there's a certain order to things, you know? You're skipping a bunch of scenes. Oh, I thought I was doing it right. Oh, Takahiro, you're so mean. I just wanted to do something nice for you. I even whipped up my special waffle recipe for you. That sounds great and all, but... I coughed and averted my gaze for a moment. Remember that talk about having unfair advantages? You're practically hacking your way to victory. I'm not hacking anything. I did break a couple of eggs, but I didn't cut anything. That's something scary. That's something scary Mio would do. It's a term from my world that we use to describe when someone's playing a game, and you know what? Never mind. I won't say anything this time. Just promise me you'll change back in your clothes before your sister sees you. Yay! I promise. Would you like some cream on your special waffle, or would you like to put it on yourself? No, regular's fine. The young girl smiled, grabbing a plate before walking over to me. Leaning down, she placed the plate on the table in front of me. I swallowed hard as I received a full view of her cleavage, purposely focusing on her tail as she turned and walked away. Maybe I should bring some up for Onesima as well. After all, I want her to like me too. Do you think she'd like me if I gave her breakfast like this? You definitely shouldn't do that, Mako. I can promise you, your sister already likes you a lot. I'm pretty sure you'll trigger a death flag if you head upstairs. Oh, okay. By the way, since we're allowed to come into the village now, Onesima and I have been thinking about going to the festival tonight. You should come with us. It would be so much fun. That smells amazing. Mako-chan, have you been making waffles again? Why is she up so early? Oh no, Takahiro, run, get out of here. Run before she sees you. Fearing the worst as Machiko's steps progressively came closer, I quickly realized that staying where I was would lead to one hell of a huge misunderstanding. I'll leave her to you. With those last words, I darted out of the kitchen and into the woods. I appeared to make it just in time because a moment later, a shrill scream and a thunderous roar sounded from the mansion. Although I was grateful for the waffles and the lingering mental image that Mako had left me with, I didn't dare to stay behind for her sister's wrath. Yeah, you know. As I continued into the woods, making a beeline past the trees, I descended into the less traversed parts of the forest. I hoped I'd be able to hide myself long enough for Machiko to calm down. However, I wasn't long before a familiar voice reached my ears, causing me to come to a grinding halt. You seem to be in a hurry, Takahiro. I spun around on the spot and saw the one person I least expected. With her tail swaying eagerly behind her, the spirit of the shrine seemed to have decided to grace me with her presence. Or rather, you look as though you're being chased by a demon. That's awfully ironic coming from you. Well, I do enjoy looking out for lost little children in my forest. Teasing aside, you seem to be enjoying yourself. You could say there's a certain charm to this place and the people that live here. I can't help but think that the reason is something more specific. I guess you're the one responsible for Mako-chan's silly behavior these past few days. Ho, perhaps. But there is a reason behind this. Does it involve getting a wedding sash? Hardly. That's too simple of a goal. There's a much greater problem that requires your attention. It seems your ticket back home shall be arriving quite soon. How unfortunate. Just in time for your little game of violence. Wait, what do you mean? You're saying I'll be able to return soon? That is correct. Soon you will be gone, and I'll finally be free to play with my dear Machitan again, free from her strange fascination with you. What about this problem you mentioned? You'll figure that out soon enough, but I'll give you a hint, boy. There is a problem only you can solve. No one from this world will have the solution. For a moment, the spirit's gaze shifted sideways, clearly in the middle of a thought before she returned to look at me quite happily. In any case, that's all you're gonna get out of me. Don't disappoint me now, Takahiro. It is usually considered unwise to do so. And with those words, the spirit steps backwards, seemingly fading away into the scenery as though she'd been a simple illusion all along. Her comments worried me a little, and if there was going to be some sort of problem, I felt it would be best to inform the girls, but who would I end up warning? Oh my god, I have choices for the first time! Oh my lord! Okay, hang on. Oh good, yes, you could save. Wow, why is my... Oh my god, I'm on third setting DPI. Calm down. My new fancy mouse, by the way, it's real fancy. So it's fancy enough that I actually have buttons on the mouse that I can change my DPI. So it's... Okay, for those of you that don't know, I mean, to my understanding, this is all it means, but DPI is how fast your mouse moves on the screen. For the simpletons, that's what it means to me. That's what I noticed. Maybe it means other things too, but my mouse, apparently, it has DPI settings, and apparently it also has modes, like sniper mode, apparently, so I imagine there's some sort of DPI that people that are, like big into shooters, that they're really try-hard, and they're in, like, super sweat mode. I imagine that would mean something to them. Anyway, but the point is, third DPI is really damn fast. Like look at this mouse. It's, and like, keep in mind, I'm barely moving it. If I start whipping it, I'm only like dancing it around, like, I don't know, like, I'm only like dancing it around, I don't know, like an inch around my mouse pad. Like, I mean, barely moving it at all. It's actually insane. This is 2. This is what I use. And then this is 1. Like, I have to throw it around to have it move at all. So 1 is in, like, painful slow motion. I use 2. But yeah, third setting is ridiculous. And then there's, like I said, other modes, but 2 is where it's at. Okay, sorry. There's choices. Maybe I should head back to the mansion and talk with the sisters. Maybe I should head to the village and see what they think about this. Okay, I really like all 4 of them, but I lean towards I like the fox girls more, I think. I really like all 4 of them, but I think I don't know. I like all 4 though. I really like all 4, but I think I lean towards the fox girls more. And plus, I mean, we're gonna see the other ending. I'll look it up anyway. So, in the end, I decided it was best to return to the mansion. Surely Machiko would have calmed down enough by now. I did feel a bit guilty about leaving Meiko to deal with her all by herself. I walked back towards the mansion, and to my surprise, saw Machiko sitting outside on the steps. I vaguely considered turning around at this point, but she saw me and gestured for me to approach. Take a seat, Taka-kun. I need to talk to you. I swallowed again, walking up the steps and taking a seat beside her. We sat in silence for a few minutes until she cleared her throat. I love my sister, Taka-kun, dearly. However, recently, I found myself resenting her for the time she gets to spend with you. I do not know how to deal with this. I find myself in one unfair situation after another. Oh. I spoke with Meiko earlier. We have come to an agreement. We'll both wait. We both trust you, Taka-kun. We're both going to wait until you fulfill your promise to return before we try to win you. There will be no more flirting from me, and no more silly antics from Meiko. I'm sorry to have dragged you into this family feud, but I fear it could not be helped. There's no need to be sorry, Machiko-san. As your friend, I kinda hope you'll talk to me if something like that bothers you. But I'm happy you were able to bury the hatchet. But I hope you will come prepared. The battle will be intense upon your return. Meiko said she would like to apologize to you. I believe she's in her room right now. I'll make sure to prepare myself for the greatest battle ever fought, but for now, I'll go find Meiko. I dashed past Machiko, who nodded as I walked past, lounging back on her deck on the deck in the early morning sun. I climbed the stairs of the mansion, looking around at what appeared to be the aftermath of their discussion. I thanked whatever angel was watching over me that I hadn't been around to witness or experience it. Machiko-chan, I'm coming in. Machiko said you wanted to talk. No, wait. Oh, look at that. Another probable censor for me. Technically not showing anything, but at the same time, I don't know. By the time I heard her cry, it was too late. Although through the open door, I saw her skirt halfway up her hips and her hands clasped around her chest. Meiko let out a shriek. Ah, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were changing. Ah, get out. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was cut off as I tried to leave, bumping into something rather warm and soft. The obstacle in question gasped as I toppled backwards into the room. Meiko, after our talk, no less. Honestly, I can't trust you to keep decent in all these days, can I? Wait, Onesima, I didn't do anything this time. I promise, I swear. I didn't plan this. I was just trying to get changed. Takani's the one who burst in before I had a chance to cover up. It was an accident. I didn't even know if Meiko was in here. I was trying to find her. Honestly, you two, I do not think I have forgotten about what happened earlier. You two are definitely up to something. Onesima, I swear. She's right. This is just a big mistake. Fine, I believe you, Meiko. You are my sister, and I love and trust you. Takahiro, you are a pervert who loves peeking on girls. You should always knock and then wait before entering a room. What if it had been the tsundere tyrant? Your head would quickly have left your shoulders behind. I'm terrified of how on the spot your statement would have been. In any case, I wanted to let you two know that I don't mind attending the festival with you. That is, if you want to accompany a peeking pervert like me. I added the last bit with a bit of a dramatic sob, acting as if I'd been hurt by the comments. A scolded puppy could learn a thing or two for the pitiful expression I wore just then. Oh, I could wear this nice frilly thing that Suchan gave me. You know, the one she said she wanted to see you in. But when you saw it, you turned white as a sheet, and I think you've kind of fainted. Suchan gave it to me when you were out cold and told me to keep it just in case. Giggling to herself, she ran to her closet, searching through piles of clothes in search of the dress. I slapped a hand over my eyes, turning my hand away as she rummaged through her room in her half-naked state. Meiko! Change first and then consider your wardrobe. I do, however, have one small request. Do not wear anything that fiend has given you. Ah, no fair. Suchan gives me such pretty skirts and tops. She's pretty generous. You should wear some of it sometimes. Oh, Onesima, does that include these pants? No, keep those on. You are completely hopeless. Taka-kun, thank you very much for the invitation. We will both graciously accept. I think it's best for me to wait outside. Machiko, I think you'd better help your sister out with her choice of wardrobe if the villagers saw her in certain outfits. I found myself wondering what would happen if Meiko actually did end up going to the festival wearing nothing but an apron and her panties, but eventually let the thought go. Yeah, you know. The girls asked me to meet them at the outskirts of the village. After a short wait, they both arrived wearing their usual clothes. I had to admit, I was a little disappointed. I had hoped to see them in something a little fancier. This will be the first time we have interacted with the village as a whole. I figured it would be a good idea to make a positive first impression, rather than an odd one. I'm sure you'll be fine. This past week has really helped the villagers realize not all spirits are troublemakers. Onesima, look, it's so pretty, all the lights. It was amazing to see the village like this. The villagers had really gone all out, making the whole place glow. The faint flickering candles dancing in the evening breeze. It is beautiful. Thank you for giving us this chance, Takakun. Without your help, I doubt we would have been allowed anywhere near the village on this night. It actually reminds me of festivals back in my world, so in a way, I was able to show a bit of my world tonight. I smiled, feeling pretty happy as I thought about my own city. Despite the difference in time and even world, I could easily see the similarities between this festival and the ones that were held back home. People would visit from all over, and the city would be filled with all kinds of decorations. It actually made me feel a bit homesick. Takani, is something wrong? Oh, no, it's nothing. I was just thinking about my world. But let's do something fun. Let's do something fun. Look over there. It's a pretty fun game. I bet I'll be able to beat you in it any day. Do you want me to explain the rules, fair maidens in my company? We would love to play with you, Takakun. Please tell us how. The three of us quickly made our way to the stall in question, which had a large wooden container placed in front of it. Filled with water, tiny goldfish could be seen eagerly swimming back and forth. Okay, the rules are pretty simple. You'll be given a small bowl and a little paper net. You have to use the net to scoop the fish out of the water. But the net is really fragile, so it'll break if you aren't careful. The one who captures the most is the winner. Oh, but you're usually allowed to take one home, if you catch any, that is. Ah, Onesama, fishies! Yes, you can keep one, Mako-chan. I would love to watch you play Takakun, but I feel this is not the game for me. Here, Elder was kind enough to give us a small amount of money for my work here this past week. Enjoy yourselves. May the best fisher win. I'm gonna catch a fishy. I couldn't help but grin at Mako's change of demeanor. When she was told that she would be allowed to keep a fish if she caught one, the girl's excitement got the best of her. After several vigorous scoops, the little scoop tore apart, ending Mako's game without a single fish caught. The dejected expression on the girl's face made me feel sorry for her, and instead, I moved behind her, putting my own net into her hand while I rested my hands on the top of her own. Let's do this together, Mako-chan. Just follow my hands. Just follow my hands. It's a game that requires you to be patient. First, you need to get the whole thing wet. If it's only partially wet, it'll rip in no time at all. Let it float in the water and don't let it struggle against it. Now, keep it at an angle and wait. When the fish gets close, scoop it up from the head and try to avoid the tail. It sometimes causes the net to break. Then you just slip it into the bowl. I showed her the best way to scoop and moved back, watching her focus intently on the water. She didn't move a muscle for well over a minute until suddenly her arm twitched and she made a little squeak. There was a little splash and the faint sound of rolling paper. Yes, I did it. I got one. Thank you so much, Takani. I caught a goldfish. Great job. Now you'll have a goldfish to keep at the mansion. Take good care of it. The stall owner bagged the fish for Mako in a special water-filled bag. I gently patted the girl's head as we walked back to Machiko. The older girl seemed to be interested in some masks that resembled different kinds of demons back in my world, making me wonder what she was thinking about. Onesama, I got a fishy. Isn't it cute? Oh, well done, little one. It is absolutely adorable. Takakun, I'm a little curious about these masks. You want one? I have some money myself from the time I helped out the guards, so I'm actually more curious about their purpose. The stall owner seemed to evade the question when I asked him. Ah, well, in my world, they're said to ward off evil spirits. Maybe it's the same here? Well then, I would most certainly like one. If nothing else, it would go a long way to prove that I am most certainly not an evil spirit. I think they know that already. There's no way two pretty girls like you could be evil spirits. I would still like a mask, though, for reasons. Alright, so... well, that's kind of suspicious. Alright, so I want to wear one. I got a little... Alright, so I want to wear one. I got a little jealous that Mako got to do something fun. You want me to pick one for you? The girl nodded her head, pouting a little as she pretended not to care, even though I knew she wanted me to do it. Well, if you insist. With a grin, I eagerly started looking through the rows of masks, trying to find one that would suit her. There were cute ones, intimidating ones, and downright weird ones that I'd never seen before. In the end, I picked one of the cute masks. I wasn't sure what type of demon it was supposed to depict, but it would have to do. How about this one, Machiko? Isn't it cute? As I showed her the mask, it kind of resembled the face of some feline creature. The thought of Machiko putting it on, her fox ears poking out from over the top of the mask, had me on the verge of having a laughing fit. It is very, nice. Thank you, Takakun. I will treasure it forever. Put it on, to show us you're not an evil spirit. He's like so excited. Okay, oh, and I may need a little assistance getting it over my ears. No, it looks perfect like that. It combines the charms of a fox spirit and the feline grace of a, well, whatever it is. I let a snicker slip before the sound of nasty footsteps suddenly, or hasty, not nasty, reached my ears. Takahiro, there's trouble. Turning towards the sound of the voice, I saw the village elder rushing towards us, seemingly in a panic, when then I finally noticed it. The festival had become eerily quiet. The spirit has attacked us the other day is back, and she brought her companions along with her. What? Onesama. Wait, are you saying they're here at the festival? Yes, they all seem agitated about something. Sakura, what has she done now? You have to hurry. Tsukino and Narumi are about to fight them. You must help them. I need more time to prepare a spell. Onesama, I don't know if I can do it. Do not worry, Mako. I'm sure we'll think of something. Mako, I have an idea, but I'm gonna need your help. Let's just get there. Where are they, Elder? Near the bonfire at the village plaza. Nodding my head in confirmation, the three of us sent off in the direction of the plaza, hoping we could arrive in time. It wasn't long before we reached the village plaza. As luck would have it, we arrived just as the two girls got there. In the center, the bonfire had been put out, and climbing up the support beams were four strange shapes. I recognized one of them as the slime girl Sakura, but the other three were unrecognizable. What's going on? Did you come to ruin the festival? You're the meanie pants from before. I like our matching color scheme, dude. So you're the human who made Machiko and Mako betray us. It's their own fault. That's right, those wicked humans didn't invite us to their party. That was really mean of them. We did not betray anyone. The ones causing trouble are you four. We were simply trying to get along with the humans, to work together. All you ever do is cause trouble. You were not invited because you could not be trusted. You have ruined our bonfire, terrorized our people, and upset the proceedings. All because you felt you had been snubbed. All because of your own actions. You have no one to blame for this but yourselves. It's the monkey girl with the sharp stick. Look who's talking. It's the slime girl with the stupid face. That could have been better, but I applaud you for your effort, Mio. Nice work. Mako, do you remember the spells we found the other day? The ones in your book? I think so. The ones like I did before. It worries me that I know exactly what that girl's referring to. Do you think she can do both of them? I know it's difficult, but I believe in you. I know you can do it. Yeah, go, Mako. Do you really think I would fall for the same trick? Ha, sisters, we will show them why we are undefeated. As the sisters darted towards us, Mako unleashed her first spell. The glowing light billowed up from her hands and shot forwards. The spell struck the yellow girl head on, but seemed to have no effect. As they got closer, Sakura shifted up to the front. The twin blades of Narumi and Mio struck, slicing through her body without any effort. I managed to duck as a large ball of pink slime shot past me. As soon as I was back on my feet, I barged into one of the other slime girls. Surprisingly enough, she turned out to have quite a lot of mass. Ha! Magic can't hurt Suki, and Suki, and magical attacks won't hurt me. We are completely undefeatable. Surrender your village to us, and we might just let you all keep living here as our toys. This is bad. Not yet, Mako. Use the other spell now. The girl nodded and began to cast her spell, stopping in front of Machiko, who seemed to be preparing something of her own, staff in hand. I found it a bit strange. I don't recall seeing any staff lying around, but she usually didn't carry any with her. But for whatever reason, she had access to it now. But it won't work. It'll just trust me, Mako. I won't ask you to do something like this if I wasn't sure it would work. As Sakura kept the two female guards busy, the other two slime girls began taunting us, throwing discarded fruit in our direction. Ha! I leapt towards the yellow slime girl, slamming into her at full speed, and managed to knock her over. The girl let out a surprised yelp and watched in horror as Mako's spell soared past her, hitting Sakura in the back. A high-pitched scream escaped from the pink slime girl. That hurts. How did you do that, Takahiro? Yeah, how'd you push her over? Our blades won't make a scratch. Remember what she said? There's only one. She's the only one immune to physical attacks. The others can be hit and cut just fine. And that is absolutely perfect for what I have right here. A special present for the guardian of the shrine herself. Taka, Naru, Mio, hold them tight. Working as one, we nodded and charged towards the remaining slime girls. Mako had Sakura in the grasp of her spell, and the pink girl could barely move thanks to her power. The slime girls had clearly not been expecting us to fight back, and with barely any resistance, we soon had each girl restrained. Hope you girls aren't claustrophobic, it's going to get a little tight. One by one, Machiko brought each slime girl into a glass jar. One by one, she opened them, pressing them to the girls' stomachs. The jars started to pull at them, slowly drawing them inside the container, trapping what appeared to be a tiny version of each of the girls within each jar. Machiko quickly pushed the lids back onto each jar, displaying them proudly to the cheers of the nearby villagers. Thank goodness you were around, Machiko, and you, Mako, you have our gratitude. No, my sisters, what have you done to them? Why are you being so intent on ruining all our fun? Sakura, take a moment to look around you. Look at the destruction, the damage. How could this possibly be any fun? Terrorizing people, scaring them, and destroying what they've worked hard for. How would you feel if they came to your home, stole your food, and wrecked your place? I never really thought about it like that. We just wanted to play with the humans like you do. As Mako collapsed, the spell seemed to disperse. Thankfully, I had been anticipating this and caught her in my arms with ease. The three of us looked to Sakura, who was slowly getting to her feet. And you and your sisters can play with us. We just ask that you're careful. Mako and I are proof that humans and spirits can coexist. But what about my sisters? They'll be fine. These jars contain a temporary holding dimension. Suyuri designed them to hold things far larger than your sisters. Slime girl Sakura, if you are truly repentant, then I, as head of the village guard, will authorize your release. However, before I do, I need you to swear an oath. Do you swear that you and your sisters will not cause problems in this village and that you'll work towards helping us and protect us? In return, we're prepared to offer you access to our supplies and services. She's basically saying that you're welcome in the village as long as you and your sisters behave. Yes, I swear, we'll be good. So please, release my sisters. I promise we'll all be good. Oh, I just missed the best part. How'd it go, Machi-tan? Are my jam bottles filled? Hearing the voice of a certain playful spirit, the group turned around and found Sayuri seated nearby, swaying her legs back and forth as she looked at the crowd. I cannot tell whether she's joking or whether you're joking or not, but I'm afraid I cannot allow you to keep them. They are honorary citizens of this village and therefore under my protection. How fascinating to think that the huffy, uptight Mio-tan would defend those troublemakers. You do realize you're talking to the the guardian deity of your village, do you not? Do not forget about me. I'm not gonna just sit by and let you do as you please. The girls of this village have grown quite the brave little ladies. You must be proud, Hayakun. A soft cough came from behind a group of people as the village elder revealed himself, a smile on his lips. It seems seems like they handled the matter just fine, Sayuri-sama. Machi-tan, you need to pull the lid off the jar to release them. However, make sure you hold on to that staff I gave you. It is your only means of channeling the necessary magic. Not everyone can be a prodigy like Mako. The older fox spirit nodded. With the help of Narumi, they began to free the captured slime girls. While the work continued, Sayuri eventually made her way towards me, a frown upon her face. I left out an important detail, Takahiro. The gateway to your world has been opened and will be closing again within a matter of minutes. If you wish to return to your world, you must leave now. But there is no time for farewells, Takahiro. There's no time for farewells. Takahiro. Leave now without your farewells or remain here in this village. Hey, where did Takakun run off to? And Sayuri? I do not know. Perhaps they had things to discuss in private? Or maybe he's gone to win me another prize. Or to get some food? I'm still a little peckish. Recalling the promise I had made, I turned my back to the girls that had gathered around the released slime girls and followed Sayuri as she picked her way through the streets and into the woods. It was unfortunate that I didn't get to say any farewells, but I had a goal to accomplish. It is a hard decision to make, however, I doubt that this is the last we hear from you, Takahiro. The spirit smiled, her hands pressed against my shoulder, a light shove pushing me backwards. What was that Interrupted by sudden dizziness, the last thing I heard was the spirit's amused whisper. Good luck, you're gonna need it. Before I had the chance to reply, I felt my body getting heavy, my vision blurred, and soon I was consumed entirely by darkness. 2 months later. Wow. With a sigh, I wandered along the familiar path leading to the shrine I subconsciously came to call Sayuri's Shrine. 2 months had passed since the fated judo tournament. It had turned out to be an amazing experience. Thanks to Narumi and Miyu's training, I had been able to make my way to the finals and ended up becoming the champion. But not everything went as planned. Even though I was kind of embarrassed by it all, I declined the proposal for me to start playing on an international level. When I announced the reason I declined was because of a girl, it quickly made headlines all over the country. Rising judo star ends career for the sake of true love. Many silly things ended up being written about me, but it didn't matter. I had declined their offer because of the promise I had made to Mako, that I would return once I had finished my business in this world. But perhaps I had been too naive, thinking that it would be as easy as that. I had been visiting the shrine every day for 2 months, praying and calling out for Sayuri, but none was ever answered. Knowing her, she's probably laughing her rear off at me, standing there shouting like this. I smiled a bit as I looked around the area, recalling how familiar it looked to the place I had visited with the Fox Girls. Speaking of which, although nothing remained of the village, it turned out that there may have been a connection between it and the city of my world. Many generations ago, when the city was still a small town, a group of malicious fiends attacked the village but were later driven out. Sometime afterward, they had named the city Tsukino Toshi. A city named after a certain tsundere? It couldn't be a mere coincidence, could it? Ah well, guess I'll visit again tomorrow. Akani? Huh? Through the rustling of the trees, I thought I heard a voice. The moment I turned around to look, the circle of unfamiliar symbols formed at my feet. Wait, what happened to the old methods? Before I had a chance to figure out what was going on, the circle lit up and I felt the ground below me disappear. It felt as though I was falling through a tunnel of sorts, a dark, never-ending tunnel that went on for what felt like several minutes, until suddenly a light came into view and... Watch out! Before I knew it, I found myself dropping out of the air right on top of the two girls standing below me, causing the three of us to topple into the grass with a loud thud. I heard grumbling from the two, and I had landed on and opened my eyes. Ow! That really hurt! See, this is what happens when you try to cast magic beyond your own capabilities. Mako-chan, you need to give up on this. This hunt of yours is going to be the death of you. I'm not going to give up. Takani made a promise. I made a promise. We would keep trying to find a way to get back to one another. So I'm never, ever, ever going to stop. I couldn't believe it. I was so stunned by this turn of events that I lost all ability to speak. Machiko, Mako, it was them, here, arguing with one another. It was too good to be true. You are a fool, Mako. Even Mio has given up on the hunt. You know what Sayuri said. Something like that can only happen when the world itself needs it to. It takes more than just one person to do what you're trying to accomplish. Suchan is only saying that because she's mean and lazy. She's lying. You're all lying. I can get him back. I will. We made a promise. Mako, I miss him too. I do. He left a hole in all of our hearts. Wow, this is so sad. Sorry. Which you will just need to let time heal. I am sorry that you have to go through all this, but you must believe me. It will get better in time. It's kind of cruel to talk about me like I died, you know? He's just like, Taka-kun. Hell yeah, dude. He's like, you know, it's kind of mean to talk about me like I died. It's like, Takani, it worked. I knew it would work. It worked, it worked, it worked. Aha. Taka-kun, it's so good to see you again. I am so happy to... The girl mumbled incoherently as she began sobbing. Mako had been sobbing since she first saw me. I smiled despite still being rather sore from the impact and patted both of their heads gently. Did you really miss me that much? Yes! Your disappearance was the cause of so much concern. Sayuri told us that you had to leave, and, well, we understand why you did. Did you win your tournament? Of course I did. Thanks to you, I was able to become the champion. I think it fell down here, Mio-chan. I think I see Chi-chan. Hey, Chi-chan! Is everything alright over there? Machiko opened her mouth to return the call, but Mako beat her to it. He's back! What? No kidding, where is he? There came a loud clambering and rustling from the shrubs nearby. The sound of two girls pushing through the bushes at speed. The two girls rushed into the clearing, gasping loudly. Oh, wow, you really are back. Idiot, 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 idiot. How could you just leave us without even saying goodbye? Mio, he didn't have a choice. He had to. I know that, but I just never got to say goodbye. Is that all? Ah, geez, you are such a tsundere. Well, at least I'm not. I don't even care. Takahiro is back. That's good. It's great to see you again, Takahiro-kun. I bet you're a champion now, right? Ready for a fight? And so it went on. The girls chatted on and on, taking turns and hugging me with promises of never letting go. I was just happy to be back. As the conversation turned towards the time spent in my own world, I couldn't help but notice the presence of yet another spirit. Standing a few feet from the rest of the group, Sayuri stood, watching us with a gentle smile upon her lips. I guess I won the bet. I guess I won this bet. I wasn't sure if she was talking to someone in particular, but for the moment I could see her gaze drifting toward me, and the words that left her lips seemingly carried a lot more importance than simple words. Seems like you aren't done with your grand adventure just yet, Takahiro. I look forward to seeing how you plan to amuse me this time. What do you mean? You will see, dear boy. You will see. Hell yeah. Aw, dude, look at that though. Well, there you go. Weird. Is there like no definitive closure? Like he's just like reunited with all of them. I mean, they were all great, but it's weird. That is weird to me. Did you like? Is there genuinely like no choices? I imagine there must be not. I imagine. That's so weird. I mean, it was really good. I really liked it. Like it was just lots of very light, like, I don't know, light grade ecchi stuff, and you know, and then that was just it. He comes back. But what was the point of the choice then? Every great story has a humble beginning. Although Takahiro Gushkin's story has come to an end, it was only a prologue of what is yet to come. We hope to see you again next time. Wait, next time? Is there more? Oh my god. Hang on. Was I wrong? Was Sakura Spirit the first of many? Hang on a minute. Alright. Uno momento, my friendings. Sorry, I said that wrong. Uno momento, my friendings. There we go. I need to look up things. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So yes, there is only one ending to this game. There is only one. So the only other thing that we could do really quick is load up the choice and then click on this one just to get any other CGs. So this one we're gonna head back to the village in this one. Figuring it would be best to let the girls cool off, I decided to head to the village. As I arrived, I found the villagers busy preparing for the final touches for the festival that evening. Everything seemed to be going well, and one or two people even greeted me as I wandered through the village. I asked for the whereabouts of Mio and Narumi, and was pointed in the direction of the last place anyone seemed to have seen them. With Sayuri's warning still fresh in my mind, I decided it was best to talk with Mio or Narumi about it. Since they were in charge of defending the village, it wouldn't be a bad idea to warn them that there could be some problems. I knocked on the door twice, and being in a bit of a hurry, announced my presence. Mio, are you here? Yes. Oh, hell yeah. I opened the door before the girl had a chance to answer, and to my surprise, Miyu had been busy changing into a kimono. Actually, who was I kidding? I should have known by now that girls always seem to be changing whenever I enter a room. That's so true, judging by the events of this past week. Ah, Takahiro, I require some assistance here. I am not used to these complicated clothes. A kimono. Sure, I'll help you out. Yes, a kimono. I want it to look nice for the festival. I want it to make a good impression. I'm the head of the guard, you know. Alright. I think you look like some kind of mysterious beauty, though. Beauty? Quit saying such nonsense. I should make you run 10 laps for saying something ridiculous like that. Just take the compliment, Miyu. I laughed as I approached the girl, making sure not to let my eyes wander too much while I helped her put on the kimono. So what's the problem? is this the confounded, obi? I imagine it's maybe how you pronounce that. I cannot wrap it around myself without the kimono slipping too low. And since I cannot get the hang of it myself, you will have to do. Ah, I see why you're having trouble. You're wrapping it around the wrong way. Here, hand me the sash. You're trying to do what someone else should do for you. Using the method my mother had taught me, we eventually got the obi tied properly. After a bit of struggling, we managed to adjust the kimono to perfection, and Miyu was successfully changed. Upon closer inspection, I really liked the way Miyu looked just then. Before I knew it, I found myself idly wondering if Narumi would be wearing a kimono as well. Thank you, Takahiro. In return, you will attend the festival as my companion. You will pick me up here and escort me around the village. I was like, okay. You will play games, and we will play games and watch the fireworks together. Before I had a chance to reply, a cheerful voice sounded from behind me. Hey, Mio, I figured you need some help with your... Whoa, you look awesome. You should wear that more often. Oh, Takahiro, you're here too. Hey, wait a minute, did you two hook up? What? That is ridiculous. Stop saying such embarrassing things, Hikage. Hey, how's that embarrassing? You were telling me to go out on a date with you just a minute ago. What? No fair. I didn't know you could do that. Mio, you Chan, you meanie. I want to go on a date with Takahiro too. I want to spend the festival with him. That is not why I asked. I simply thought it would be a good show of public relations if the person who changed our view of spirits was seen having a good time with the captain of the guard. Ho, well, if that's the case, why didn't you just ask Chi-chan or Meiko-chan? That would have been way better than going with Takahiro. I kind of have to say something I have to discuss with you, so I think I'd better go with at least one of you tonight. There's enough of me for the both of you. One can have the Taka, and the other can have the hero. I guess that could work. A double date with just one guy. Things could get pretty interesting. Narumi, get that lewd expression off your face this instant. This is not a date. It's for cultural purposes only. Yeah, whatever. I came to see if you needed help with your dress, not work. I'll see you both later. I had to step up my game for tonight. Geez, getting all diplomatic, huh? That's pretty amazing. After being kicked from Mio's house, I decided to linger around the village to help speed up the preparations for the festival. The village elder approached me shortly before nightfall and offered me a change of clothes, which I graciously accepted. It was a rather long robe, this one silky and of very high quality. Finally, after hours of waiting, the festival began. The village looked completely different once nightfall arrived. Lights and vibrant streamers decorated every inch of the village, and various stalls were selling food and games. It was an amazing sight to behold, and I wasn't just talking about the village itself. The two female guards approached me from the left, both dressed in beautiful kimono that they had prepared for the occasion. Without realizing it, I found myself smiling in a slightly goofy manner. I mean, who could blame him, though? Like, damn! Wipe that dumb grin off your face, you fool. You are here as a cultural envoy, not as some overly eager child. You look amazing, Takahiro. Those clothes really suit you. I could be saying the same, Narumi. I could be saying the same, Narumi. How does it look? Did you mistake me for a noble gentleman from a distant kingdom? I might even take one of you home as my bride-to-be. Hee, who knows? Oh, Takahiro, don't know. Would you be willing to accompany me to the stall over there? Let's enjoy the festivities, hee. Hikage, stop this ridiculousness. We are not here to have fun. Oh, lighten up, Mio. Can't you just relax for one damn evening? Cheer up, Mio. You look cuter when you're smiling. Come on, hey, why don't we go play the ring toss game? You used to like that when we were younger. You know, when you weren't thrashing yourself over training all day. I don't know. We can all play together. We can all play together if you want. I'll let you have the prize even if I win. You two will not leave this alone, will you? All right, fine. I will play one game. We made our way over to the ring toss game. Several sticks lined the back of the stall, each thicker or thinner depending on the difficulty and prize associated with it. I handed the stall owner his money and received 9 wooden rings in return. Here we go, 3 each. Good luck. I do not need luck. I have skill on my side. 10 minutes later, we were still at the stall. Narumi had won a ticket for a free snack from a nearby stall, and I had won a little candy, which I initially offered to Mio, who flat out refused to eat it. Getting increasingly frustrated with her many losses, she ended up spending most of her money trying to get even a single ring onto a wooden peg to no avail. Okay, Mio, we're gonna go get some food, okay? We'll be back in a bit. Confounded wooden devils! I will beat this game! You can do it, Mio! With those words of encouragement, I followed after Narumi, who seemed rather eager to drag me along. We arrived at one of the many stalls that lined the streets. Narumi showed her prize ticket to the woman behind the stall, who nodded and brought the snack Narumi had picked. As we waited, I idly looked around at the nearby food stalls until a cough brought me back to my senses. In the girl's hand was, I admittedly got a little distracted for a second. Sorry, in the girl's hand was some kind of snack. It reminds me of the chocolate-coated bananas we had back home, which would explain why it hadn't taken her long to get her food. However, the way she was eating it immediately set off alarm bells in my head. This is so good. In a way, I'm glad they only make them during festivals. Otherwise, I'd be eating them all the time. I'd get so fat. You want to bite, Takahiro? I think I'll pass. Oh, okay. More for me to gobble up then. I love the textures too. The hard outer shell and the Oh god, I'm so uncomfortable. And the cold, gooey insides. I love the cream they drizzle on it too. I could just lap it all up. I'm sure the banana's enjoying it as well. Make sure you don't spill anything. It would be a shame if you've got chocolate on your... I shook my head and inverted my eyes. You're the only one in this room averting his eyes. Mainly because I knew something was about to happen, given my luck. Yeah, obviously. Considering the Grand Canyon lurking beneath her clothes, I doubted my mind will be able to endure the night. Oops, thank you. I nearly dropped some nearby. I think I'm beginning to understand why Buddhist monks spend their time under a waterfall. It's okay, I caught it with my fingers. Are you sure you don't want to bite, Takahiro? You can have this on my fingers if you want to. I think I'll, Oh, come on, I'm just messing with you. Chichon's has been teaching me some things. What do you think? Did I manage to seduce you? You're a talented student. I could definitely tell Machiko has been working her magic on you. It's been fun playing with Chichon again. I never realized how much I missed the old days. It's really great, you know. It's all thanks to you, Takahiro. Before I could react, the girl leaned forward and kissed me gently on the cheek. She quickly pulled back and smiled at me, a faint blush on her cheeks. What was that for? Don't worry about it. Maybe it's really for the best. Maybe it's really for the best that you'll be leaving. It makes it all a bit more fair. You don't have to worry about that. I promised Mako that I would come back here once I dealt with things back home, and since a real man doesn't break his promises, you're going to be stuck with me again real soon enough. Really? I'm glad to hear that. You've done a lot for this village, and I would hate to see you go. Oh, right, Sayuri, the Shrine Spirit. She mentioned something earlier today. Oh? Was that the thing you wanted to talk to us about? Yeah, she basically said something both you and Mio need to hear. However, before I could continue, it appeared I had been too late. Mio had already finally caught up with us, depressed and angry with herself for spending almost a month's worth of wages on a silly game. Before she could speak, the village elder rushed up to us. Tsukino, Narumi, are you alright? The three of us glanced at each other, a bit surprised at the arrival of the village elder, who came running towards us, panting heavily. It's the spirits, they're throwing a tantrum near the bonfire. At this rate, they'll ruin the festival. Spirits? What was I was that what I needed to talk to you about? Or this is what I needed to talk to you about. We need to stop them before they can cause any more trouble. Elder, I need you to find Mako and Machiko. I'll look for them right away. Tsukino, Narumi, your weapons have been prepared for you. Okay, now I think from this one, I think it's actually all the same after this. But I am just a little curious if his coming back story is different. Okay, so his coming back is even the same, actually. So he comes back and is still summoned by the wolf girls. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, that's the show. That was interesting. That was not what I expected. There was no, like, siding with a girl route. There was only, like, one choice is if you were going to go have that extra special one moment with the, like, warrior girls or have the extra special one moment with the fox girls. And that was pretty much your choice. So that's interesting. So we're still going to stay online, for lack of a better word here. Sakura. I need to see here. Well, I guess I could just look up Sakura Spirit, because I know that's what oh my god, if I could just type. If I could spell it right, too. So there's the soundtrack. Interesting. So Sakura Spirit does not have a sequel. It has the soundtrack. The soundtrack's available, but that's it. Interesting. Weird. Yeah, so interestingly enough, there is no sequel so far for Sakura Spirit. Interesting. Weird. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so I guess that is truly that is the end of it. Sorry, it'll go black because it doesn't like it when I alt-tab and go back in. It takes a second to come back. Anyway, there it is. Anyway, so yeah, otherwise, though, that was good. That was a self-contained playthrough, and that was interesting. It was shorter than I thought. It was also, there was no definitive closure, also surprising. However, I mean, but it was okay. I mean, honestly, it was a good time. I was invested. I mean, like, there was lots of great, cute little ecchi scenes and moments, and I would open the gallery, but I'll have to probably censor things again if I care to do it the first time, and I'd rather save myself the work of having to do that again. So I will look at the gallery when I've stopped this recording. Anyway, but regardless, though, yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled for a sequel. I would be curious if they ever do actually release a sequel and see if there is another Sakura Spirit, because I was actually invested. The story was interesting, so I will keep my eyes peeled for that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not positive what's coming next. I guess this will probably go into the Sakura playlist.
because even though it's self-contained in one video, it makes more sense to me to have it contained with the other Sakura games over putting it in random games. So, so I think that's probably exactly what I'll do. This is interesting because this will be the first time I've ever, in my memory, this is the first time I've ever played a game on my channel that was a full playthrough in one video that was self-contained, like not like part 1, part 2 kind of thing. So that's interesting. But it was good. It was good. I had a good time. I really liked the characters. The ecchi scenes were super pretty. I really dig the Sakura Games' art style, and I think it's very pretty, and the girls are super sexy, and so, you know, nothing wrong with that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not positive what's coming next. I have more Sakura games. I believe another one I have is Sakura Fantasy. I think it's what it's called. Now, it says Chapter 1, so I am curious if there's more Sakura Fantasies. I also have, I think, 4 of the Sakura Succubuses. I think there's 4 of those in a row, and I have all 4 of them. I don't know if there's a 5th one, but I have at least 4 of them. I think I also have Sakura Gamer. I think there's like at least 3 of those. I think I have 2 of them. So I have lots of those, and then I have a plethora of other visual novels as well. So I don't know if another visual novel will be coming next. I don't know if it's going to be another Sakura game, just because this one was shorter than I thought, or I don't know if we're going to jump into something else that I am considering as well. So that one, because it's so likely, I'm going to keep that one a surprise. But yeah, I mean, it was a good time. It was cute. It was short. It was ecchi. It was kind of, you know, it was ecchi, and it was a good time. I liked the story. It was quick, but to be fair, I bought this on sale for like 59 cents. So that was 60 cents worth of fun, that's for sure. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it was a good time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these Sakura games, because I do enjoy them. I mean, obviously there's lots of reasons, and obviously the you know, plot in air quotes is obviously worth staying for. But you know, then the actual for realsies plot for that, you know, the romance part, it's what I love. I love that a lot. And yeah, the ecchi stuff is fun, and you know, and especially after you install the 18+ patches and all that stuff, it makes it super fun. But it was a good time. Yeah, good time. So yeah, as far as I know, uploads for this week should be normal. I am planning on recording like Sunday, Monday, for my weekend. Nothing new there. And so it'll be part 1 of whatever our new main game is, whether it's going to be another Sakura game because this is so short, or whether we jump into that longer game that's going to be more of a series of things. We will see. We will see what happens with that. I will gauge my mood on Sunday. Just like I'll be gauging it over the next few days, and then it's come Sunday when it's time to record is when I will gauge and figure out what I want to do on that front. Anyway, that is going to call for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.